What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the 606 Whateva Podcast, where we touch on events and agendas around the world and feed them to you from a Chicago perspective.
Man, tell them I'm unapologetically black, melanin heaven on. So keep your 2 cents, we charging much more. About the rain on them, I can't contain it anymore. Let's go. Let's go.
If you don't know me, I am Big Mel, a.k.a. The Premise. Let me introduce y'all to my amazing panel. What's up, y'all? You good?
Yeah.
I'm going to do these introductions proper because we've been gone for a little while. So
just a little bit.
Hiatus.
Let me introduce the beautiful people I have with me, man. To my immediate left, you already know, my roadie that's been digging in with me.
Yes, sir.
For the past few years, we've been on and popping.
Been at it.
Ray Skilly,
yes, sir.
a.k.a. Lyrics to Go, a.k.a. the Underground Go to Hip Hop. What up, baby?
What's going on, family?
How you feeling, man?
I am great. Good to be back, family.
I'm so appreciative of this moment. That's why I'm trying to compose myself and do it right. To my far right, I got one of my other brothers who's been doing it with me a little longer than Skills. Right?
Yes, sir.
We've been getting it cracking for quite some time, man, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yep.
One of my brothers, I've known him way before the podcast. He's married to my beautiful cousin. He is my cousin at this point.
Yes, sir.
My homie, my ace, Vince, a.k.a. Vince Sanity. What's the deal, man?
Yes, sir.
Be back, man.
How's the family, man?
Everybody's good, man.
Everybody good?
Yeah.
I'm just happy to have y'all in my circle.
Good to be here.
With that being said, wash them away for a minute.
Yep.
To my immediate right, I have a beautiful soul, not only physically, but also mentally and spiritually. This young lady, I think we met in 2000. Right?
Yeah.
A minute ago. So let me talk about this journey. First off, one of my brothers, like a brother of mine that's outside of friendship that I call a brother, literally, like from another mother. My homie Bruce, who stays in Arizona now. Shout out to Bruce. What up, family? You already know. This is his beautiful cousin. So we were on a journey with this hip hop shit. Skills, you already know what it is. You know what it is too, Candace.
Good memory.
We was on this journey. We traveled to California to be in this Hollywood showcase, driving. It was 8 of us in a minivan.
Chicago to California.
Driving, there was no trunk space, so all of our luggage was in there. That we literally stopped to get gas and to piss and eat, and we just kept going. When we finally got there, after we fumigated the vehicle because it was smelling like something different,
bunch of dudes.
Exactly. There was one lady in there too.
Yeah.
It was 7 dudes and one lady in there. And when we finally got to our hotel and settled in, I think the next day, we ran into this beautiful young lady. And we just hit it off from the start, I think.
Mm-hmm. We was living out there.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah. So we had like healthy dialogue. I don't know if she knew this, but I was crushing a little bit.
Oh my God, that was so long ago.
You know, that was very long ago.
Kids and all of that.
Facts. Now we family.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what's up.
So I think we had lost touch for a couple years, and then I found out you had moved to Chicago, and you know it's been a beautiful journey of friendship, brother and sisterhood.
Yep.
It's my homie, my home girl, one of my closest friends.
Yes.
Candace.
Yes.
How the hell are you?
I am living life. Life is living me. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
For sure.
This is a true honor, for sure. I know we talked about it.
Yeah.
We have our conversations, but this is really nice.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all having me on.
I definitely appreciate you being on, man. We're about to do it big today. I feel like this panel is the best in Chicago, Illinois.
Say that.
Podcasts.
Say it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who else doing podcasts. And shout out to them if they doing it.
Hey, shout out to them.
I feel like we the best moving. We the best thing moving right now.
For sure.
So, lady, fellas, we got a lot to talk about today, man.
There's a lot going on in the world.
There's a lot going on in the world.
A lot of fucking.
Yes. a lot of fuck.
Let's just brief everybody on the events and agendas that we will be discussing today. The first thing is this little PSA, this little the purge situation that's got everybody, and I know this right up your alley.
Right.
So I know that this purge situation that got people thinking, and I've even heard some of my homies talking about it, like, man, they just fucking up, they purging, and they're about to cause this purge because that's the reality that they put out there.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that. We ain't gonna get all into it now. The water is still as fucked up in Jackson.
Yep.
Insane, bro. Insane. So we'll discuss that as well. And I feel like the Brett Favre situation kind of intertwines with that as well.
Yeah.
Bro.
I mean,
it's something that needs to be discussed.
well, clearly it's not being discussed.
It's definitely not, right? Because, hey, see, Stephen A. always bring me back in his world sometimes. Mm-hmm. That's why I feel, though, I fuck with him, but, you know, some of the shit you do, I just don't agree with. Yeah. But Stephen A., like, definitely, he brings me back sometimes.
And then he'll go on Hannity, and then it's just like,
Yeah, we've talked about that. Yeah. And then we're going to touch on, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. I'm so disgusted with him because he cheated on one of our queens.
Oh, my goodness.
He cheated on Love Jones, bro.
Because he dumb.
What's he doing? But you know how that go. Once you...
Well, she loved Jones to us.
Yeah, for sure.
She near to him.
You don't even know.
I get it. I get it. I was just being a fan.
Yeah,
right.
Nah, I got you.
Right.
I was being a fan.
Well,
so
what it says is it don't matter how beautiful, how successful you are as a woman.
It sounds crude, but for every beautiful woman, the saying goes, for every beautiful woman, there's a man that's tired of fucking.
Absolutely.
With you.
That's a fact.
Right.
That's a fact.
I mean,
it's true.
I guess as...
It's like, true. It's true.
Yeah.
But not just the woman, like, and we'll get into this too.
Y'all don't come from.
But
I'm not right.
It's a two-way street to that, so we'll definitely get into it.
Right.
You know, we'll touch on the Bears a little bit too, but
we ain't really got to.
Hey, how are you, Bears fan?
I'm gonna tell you how I'm doing. I'm wearing a Bulls cap tonight. That's how I'm doing.
They 2-2 though.
I'm wearing a Bulls cap tonight.
All right, we'll touch on that.
I got a Bears cap in the car. I didn't want to wear it.
That's about it?
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
I didn't want to wear it.
Start off pretty.
It's probably the ugliest 2-2 you've ever seen, by the way. Let's not. You know what? I want to park here, y'all. Let's talk about this Kanye West.
Okay.
And this Yeezy, this Y2YSZN fashion show, where this gentleman wore a WLM shirt.
Right.
If anybody, can somebody just please kind of clarify that acronym just in case anybody doesn't know?
Do we need to?
I think
everyone listening and watching should know.
It feels weird to say it.
And have heard.
It do.
Honestly, it does. Like, I just don't want to be the one.
I mean, I just don't even like giving this dude energy, man.
I knew you would enjoy this, right? So Kanye West calls Black Lives Matter a scam amid White Lives Matter shirt backlash.
And I think he's, FYI, and I think he's appearing on Tucker Carlson's show tonight on Fox News. So
I think he's had an interview already, kind of alluding to some of his usual antics, and we'll dialogue on this because I think it's worthy to at least Kanye West. This Kanye West situation. Yeah. And let's get to Kanye in a minute, but there has been this whole scenario, whereas the BLM situation is a scam. Yeah. There's been reports of the network owner of it that's been established to be like the lead guy that's been fucking up the money basically and not doing right. And they reported that he took $10 million. Okay. But then they also reported that they bought a house for $6 million in cash. Right? My thing is this. How many establishments have had bogus or bad leadership, but the actual cause of the establishment has not been completely tarnished?
Right.
With this Black Lives Matter thing, I feel that the minute that something is off course to the
they're
movement,
gonna nitpick it.
They're gonna nitpick it, and then they're gonna make it seem like the whole situation was a scam. Yeah. And going back to Kanye, I don't understand. I don't think I want to try to give him the benefit of the doubt, but
you good.
I don't, but I say that because I don't think he really understands the bigger picture of this.
See, I disagree with you on that.
But I think one of his sicknesses is that he's so engulfed in narcissism.
Mm-hmm. Now that I'm with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
That he will. I listen to the man speak. He's literally changed his accent, right? And I'm not gonna call. When you talk proper, they were like, "You're talking lighter."
No, it's not that.
I'm not. It's no. What I'm saying is that. So if I say we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do that, and this is him changing his whole accent.
Yeah, man.
And it's weird. It's sick. I think
he's mentally ill. I mean, we know that that's real, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That on top of being a narcissist, it's just layer after layer, and we are feeding into it. And he grows from that. He grows from people, for all this attention, no matter if it's negative or positive, he grows from it. His head gets bigger, and he feeds off of that energy.
He makes more money.
That's why I choose to I don't even like to indulge in that. Is
there a thing like being mentally disturbed from narcissism? Like, what is that?
Well, I mean, people call narcissists crazy.
Is that a form of like, what mental illness is that? Because they say he has what?
He's bipolar?
Bipolar?
Supposedly he's bipolar.
Is
that's
that
what
like
they say.
I don't know. I've never heard of
being bipolar is real.
That's very
I'm
medical.
just saying, like, is narcissism a branch off of that tree, though?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think it's a personality trait.
Because you have people who are 1,000, by any measure, they're looked at as 100% sane.
And they're narcissists.
But they're narcissists.
Yes.
It's almost like, and I want all y'all opinions on this too, because it's insane to me that, and we'll again, like, I know I keep jumping back and forth between Kanye and the actual situation, because it's not just Kanye that's trying to tarnish the Black Lives Matter movement. Right. I feel like when he wears a shirt like White Lives Matter, it's always infusing. This is such a asinine and just juvenile thought process that people have when it comes to, you have to, like, Black Lives Matter means we're not including White Lives Matter.
But I think he knows that. But it's not just it's the message that he's putting out there as a black billionaire, right? And it's the message he's putting out there because, I mean, damn, it's as simple as, I'm going to physical therapy because I have lower back issues. It's like somebody walking down the street with an absolutely healthy back going into the physical therapy office and says, "Hey, my back matters too." I didn't say your back didn't matter. I'm just treating my back because it's fucked up. It needs the assistance. And it's the exact same motive with Black Lives Matter. I'm like, this is Come on, guys. This is a very simple thing to understand.
But that's why giving him the energy it's a waste of time, because I don't even think he doesn't really even have a basis or foundation for him. He's not fighting for that. Mm-hmm. He's not coming out saying, wearing this t-shirt and has a reason, and he is saying like, no, this is A, B, C, and D. Yep. It's literally to get a response out of us.
He came out and did an interview. I watched the interview earlier. He did an interview in London.
With that big ass, the whole...
Yeah, he looked like Vlad and shit.
Yeah.
And he did an interview, and he broke down why he did it. And he gave his reason. I've been stopped giving this shit about Kanye reasons. Bullshit. He's nuts.
But my thing is, there's like a bigger situation going on than just
he chose
you being a narcissist.
Like, he chose the people who made him a billionaire, white people. Yeah, he chose them.
Fact.
He made it clear.
Mm-hmm.
When I was the black people's champ. And I was saying, President don't give a shit about us. And I was putting out Jesus Walks.
You wasn't a billionaire.
I was putting out. I mean, I was making money.
Yeah, but
I wasn't a billionaire. I'm a billionaire. When you look at the show that he was
over, that's when
he chose.
Out.
Michael Jackson chose. We done seen people choose in front of us. We don't want to admit it.
But
how many years?
We still, as a black community, we still fuck with Kanye.
And they still fuck with Michael Jackson.
There's a lot of people that still...
Hey, man.
They still fuck with Michael Jackson. He changed his face to be a white man.
I feel like
on the mic, man.
Bro,
you steady out. That's a whole
he did it. And we still was like, but we still love Michael. We still love Michael.
Vitiligo, and he had white spots.
He had what, fam? What do he have?
It's called vitiligo.
Okay.
Google it.
Okay. I can Google it. How many other people have ever had that disease?
Listen, you can't compare Kanye to Mike, man.
No,
why not? They chose
just
the audience
did you see
that
the
made them to the status that they were at, with an audience that they permanently surrounded themselves by. Michael Jackson did that, and Kanye did that. When you look at the show that he was performing in, it was all white people at that show except for him and Candace Owens.
Skills. You can't.
He chose his crowd now. He's gonna sound like them. He's going to do what they do. He's going to say the things that appeal to them. I'm talking about Kanye.
For sure.
He's going to say the thing that's going to appeal to them.
I agree with that.
Whatever it takes.
But Michael Jackson has never done anything like that. If he was uncomfortable with his appearance, that's one thing. We getting off track, but if he was uncomfortable with his appearance, that's one thing. But Kanye West is extremely intentional in what he's doing. That's all I'm saying. It's two different things, man.
My whole thing is, stop saying he ain't been right since his mama died. Stop. And I need black folks to stop wishing for the old Kanye to come back.
It's not gonna happen.
It's not happening.
No.
And I've been saying, I think Skills, you've been on the same wavelength as I have.
He been gone, fam. You've been telling this.
His thing is, he wants the adulation of white people.
Period.
That is what he values. If you watch interviews, you hear him, I'm going to be the next Steve Jobs. I'm going to be the next
Walt Disney. He always drops
all these
them.
people.
Ralph Lauren.
That's
them.
what he wants. And so his thing is, from my perspective, his thing is, I feel, in order for me to get that, I need to parrot a lot of the statements that are coming from white America. So all of a sudden, we see the pivot from George Bush don't care about black folks to now we see it's, he's palling around with Candace Owens and he's touting being a free thinker, which when people say they're a free thinker, that usually means they on some bullshit. But now he's parroting, I'm a free thinker and I'm thinking freely and all this stuff.
Right.
And then he's embracing Donald Trump. And now he's wearing the hat, and now he's wearing the White Lives Matter t-shirt, and now he's saying that BLM is a scam. And all of this stuff, it, once again, from my opinion, is to ingratiate himself more with that side of the aisle. But then on the flip side, to me, where he has us as a people fucked up, is when these people consistently slam the door in his
face.
When they don't embrace him as some visionary fashion designer.
Absolutely.
When they don't embrace him as some visionary creative magnet, when they don't embrace his megalomania and co-sign his view of himself as a genius, then all of a sudden he wants to come back to us and be like, we got to boycott Gap. We got to stop buying Adidas.
Or he makes a new record.
Or we got to do this.
Yes.
And it's like, you can't have it both ways.
No.
From my perspective, you can't piss on me and tell me it's right. Like, that's how I feel about it.
You don't rock with us.
And then
That's
also,
exactly what's happening.
You can't do it. And I feel like so many, last thing I'll say, and I'll turn it over to
you
everybody
good,
else.
bro.
We hold on to an ideal of Kanye West that, quite honestly, I'm not even sure that Kanye West was the real Kanye West.
We'll never know.
I don't know if, that the Kanye West that we all fell in love with at the get-go, I don't know if that was the real Kanye West or this is the real Kanye West.
That was him
All
at
I
that
say
time. I think that was the real him at that
Kanye
time.
West,
He's a
I ain't
narcissist.
fucking with it.
he said and done enough things
Done.
to me that I'm off that.
Yes.
I'm off that 1,000%.
Well, he's a narcissist,
Yeah,
right?
off.
So
yeah.
It's done.
his narcissist has grown in a
Right.
sense, right? It's grown with his mental. Like when he was George Bush don't like black folks and all these other scenarios that were like pushing him at the forefront to say things that were on his mind. It just so happened to be the agenda that we were rocking
Right,
with,
yeah.
right.
Because he always and here's where his narcissism is just so exposed, and it's just almost, it is like a sickness, because he would do anything to say, well, I started this.
Right.
I'm this, I'm that. Even with this accent, the way he's talking. If he finds 2 or 3 more people that's talking like that, he's gonna say like, see, now everybody's talking like they're from the valley.
Yeah.
Right.
I started that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Started
So I mean, yeah, Kanye is very disturbed right now. And I'm in the hip hop industry. You were in the hip hop industry years ago. He's a clown to me.
Bro,
Yeah.
he's not only a clown.
He's a clown to me. I'm sorry.
This is what's weird about him to me.
Clown to me.
This is what's weird about him to me. And not weird, because I understand it.
No, you don't.
I do.
You can't understand.
Well, this is my theory. Maybe
Impossible.
I don't. This is my theory.
I
The
wouldn't be
people
your
you
homie
surround.
if you understood.
Well,
that.
I'm not in the sunken place where he is. But he's in a sunken place.
You said that.
I told you, dog, he's in that place.
Yeah, for sure.
When you around, the circle you around determines the path you're going. You're around Mos Def, you're around Talib Kweli, you're around Black Thought, you're around Erykah Badu, you're around Common Sense, you're around David Chappelle. That was that Kanye. Mm-hmm. Right? Then you get with the Kardashians, and you got this Kanye.
But he removed
Your
himself
circle.
from that. It
But he
wasn't
chose
like
to do it. No, I'm
himself
saying,
from what?
And this is my point by saying that.
from that
He's not
circle that he was
lost.
talking
Yeah.
about.
No, he's not lost. I'm with Parks.
And then
He's not
talk
lost and
dirty about all
confused and need to be
those
gathered
people.
back.
I totally agree with that.
This
I don't
man
think
made a
he's- I don't
decision,
think
Parks.
He made
I'm
a
not
decision.
rocking with this circle anymore.
Right.
I'm going to this one. The whole O.J. Simpson whole theory of the shit where I'm not black, I'm O.J.
Yeah.
That's Kanye. I'm not black, I'm Kanye. I'm going to say what they like. This is my circle. These are my friends. This is who I eat dinner with. This is
That
who I
ain't your
socialize
friend.
with.
That ain't his
But that's how
But
he
don't
feels.
I know.
Understand
I know.
that.
That's his family
Well,
now.
my thing is, y'all keep saying,
Not us.
not y'all.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, let me walk that back. Not y'all, but so many people, I see it on social media. They still try to act like,
He's just this lost mystical.
yeah, like
You're not
he
lost.
gets on his
engulfed
meds and he
in-
does
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And I'm like, what if what it really is? He knows exactly
What
what
he's
he's
doing.
doing.
Yeah.
Yes. He is
Because
not a dumb
it's very
man. He's
Right.
not.
Very
He's
tactical.
very smart.
Tactical.
Very
tactical.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
It's all,
he's so, where his smartness tarnishes is through his narcissism.
Yeah.
Because that shit is gonna be the demise of Kanye West.
That,
He
and
may
I'm
be the
sorry,
first
but
fucking beast.
I honestly think
Bro.
it's the white people around him.
Yes.
Like, you know, if
Kobe said that.
you think about the black elite, if you will, in those circles, these white people are like, yeah, they're feeding that. They're feeding him and they're like gassing him up
Yeah.
Yep.
to where he's like, yeah, I don't need this is all I need. This is all I got, because guess what? They're going to give me what I want or need, which is money, notoriety.
Yeah.
Because he wants to be a legend. He wants to, which he's going to go down in the history of being whoever he is.
But this is the thing.
But it
And
doesn't
that's
matter if it's negative or positive for Kanye. He just wants everyone to know his name, and he wants to be...
Who gets to determine that, right?
He's trying
Let's be honest about that. When we talk about legends, right? Who really gets to make that decision if your name is forever legendary?
Not the person, I don't
the
think.
people he surrounds himself
Right.
with, the people he wants the approval of. If he wants to be an icon and a legend, have statues and people to teach about him, he's talking to the crowd that's going to provide that for him. And they're going to buy the tickets. And they're going to always praise him. And he's going to always support whatever crazy-ass cause it is. If tomorrow the cause is... It's a bigger... Well, he already did it. I'm finna say he did it already with the abortion.
He's already gonna be known.
He came out and cried about the abortion. Like, he went on their side with the abortion laws. He's showing you, this is my crew now. I don't rock with y'all no more. And there's too many black people still walking around trying to act like he's this beautiful specimen of intelligence, and there's a way to break down this Rubik's Cube. It ain't one. He chose, and it wasn't us.
So it's one thing that I would disagree with you at it, and this is why it's so hard to just kind of disregard Kanye West, only because of when I say that,
I know
Vince,
what you mean.
I'm not just
I got
talking
you.
about like the character and the person of Kanye, but his body of work is
I really agree
so his
with
body
that.
of work is exceptional. We talked about this too, Skills. Like,
I'll never take that away from him.
His portfolio of music probably trumps 90% of hip-hop.
I won't argue with that.
Start to finish.
I won't argue with that.
And that's the thing that I think keeps him so relevant amongst black people.
We holding on.
But that's what we do. We hold on real tight. But you're right and you're right. We can take what we cherish about him, the past, the music, and leave it there. We can listen to that and be like, man, that was a time, man. I can listen to this and I can feel a certain way and it can take me back. But after that, we ain't gotta fuck with the rest.
You can hear
cut it off. Because we are feeding into what he wants. And that ain't it.
I totally agree with that. So with that, I guess with that being said, it's time to move the fuck on from Kanye.
Move
you know what I mean?
Right.
So Yeezy, get your shit together, brother.
He never will.
Because we not fucking with you on this panel,
will.
man. At the 606, we not fucking with you. So let's move on to this PSA. This PSA, and Vince, I know you gonna have fun with this, bro. So it's this PSA out there, right? And let me get the actual factual situations so we can kind of, bro, it's insane. First of all, these political commercials, have you seen them? Where they are actually showing real abuse. Like the last one I seen was somebody getting cracked over the head on the red line with a bottle, and his shit is just leaking.
Why you gotta say red line? I gotta take that home. I gotta take that home.
Green line.
I'm just kidding.
Let's keep it.
I take that every day.
They know what it is.
No, but it's true. That shit happen on the red line all the time.
I remember when I used to be on the red line, man.
I got
they
stories.
don't fuck around on the red line.
Hey, shout out to the oil man.
Listen, bro.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so it's just this political tug of war is on and popping. They don't give a fuck. They even showed one lady getting robbed, right out in front of a crib. She sued them and won.
Just
that's intimate shit, man. That's not anything to be wrong.
Absolutely.
I see these commercials, I was like, fuck. So that being said, we have this PSA that's saying they're taking away cash bail, right? So cash bail is basically people that,
Poor people.
Pretty much.
So poor people that can't afford to bail themselves out have to sit in jail
Until their
trial comes. And we all know if you in the county, bro.
Months.
If you in the county looking for a court date,
it could be a long time.
Months.
It could be so petty. It could be a misdemeanor, anything.
Yeah.
If you get in that county and you're in there, you're just in the system. And they don't give a fuck.
Not at all.
Like, you'll be in there for months over the pettiest shit. So this is kind of weighing situations out.
Brother, you can be in there for years.
Yeah.
Like, if we're going to talk about
for all these continuous, they steady pushing the court date. You can sit.
The story that spotlight.
You ain't got the money.
The brother in New York who was in jail for 3 years because unfortunately his family couldn't come up with $3,000 in cash for his bail.
$3,000.
He spent 3 years in prison.
Insane.
Eventually, they dropped the charges for lack of evidence. But he was so traumatized by what happened
live with it.
by being in that scenario that he ended up killing himself.
So, just to kind of put things in perspective, the Pretrial Fairness Act will become a law January 1st and is part of a long-running campaign to address issues with cash bond, which advocates say leads people who have not been convicted of charges to remain in jail because they cannot afford the bail a judge assigned them. Right?
Yep.
So that means, like, if you got pulled over and
had a bunch of
you had like
a warrant,
DUI or anything, but you didn't blow or something. You know what I mean? And you're in jail now, like you in jail with the fucking hooligans for real.
Yeah.
And you can't afford to get out because you're poor.
Yeah.
Right? You can't afford to get out of jail. You're not poor, but you're financially in it.
I mean, that's more than half of the...
You can't afford to get out of jail, so you have to stay in there and get lost in the system until your trial date comes. And then, like you just gave the example, the guy in New York was in there for 3 years until they finally dropped the charges. So it wasn't even, he didn't belong in there in the first place.
That man got raped and beat and all of that in jail, man.
I think I know who you're talking about.
All of that happened to that man, dog. And he couldn't live with it. And no matter how much money people was giving him and his freedom.
After that, there's no...
He broken.
And then you come out with nothing. So you don't come out with support. You don't come out with therapy, counseling to help you get through all that you've been through. What else is there? Nothing.
Like, again, we've said on this show before, it's supposed to be the correctional facility, and it does anything correction.
It's hell, bro. I mean? It's the closest thing to hell I ever heard.
Politicians, mainly Republicans, are having an issue with this.
Right.
So J.B. Pritzker, they're doing something like this now in some parts of the state of Illinois called the Safety Act, which kind of follow those same guidelines and structures as far as just not allowing people to stay in jail because they can't afford bail. So politicians, Republicans, are stating that the purge is in full effect, given this misnomer that if you abide by this rule, rapists, murderers, thieves, people had invaded your house and they'll be let out the next day, even if they're convicted of the crime. They failed to leave out, though, Vince, Candace, Skills, that the judge still supersedes that law.
Yes.
And that's the biggest.
That's what
That's the biggest thing that they failed to leave out.
Well, they did that for a reason.
You know what I mean? And listen, I got friends of mine that are buying into this shit. So it's not just a thing where, oh, here they go again. No, they're getting people to really buy into this bullshit.
Let me do this real quick, because I know, Parks, you're going to break it down to the complete science of it. Let me give you this as a perspective, and I'll leave it alone. When I listen to this, and just like you said, it's obvious that they don't want to tell all of the stories because they want to push their own agenda with it. So if they can scare people, that's the easiest way to push an agenda, is scare by fear. That's how they operate. We're going to scare the shit out of you. Now we got your attention, and you're only going to know from the version that we told you. So that's that, right? The other part of it is, when you look at the law itself, and just like Park said, that was an example I used to explain to my cousin why this law was important. I have family members, and I don't know if everybody else do. I just speak for myself. We had to put money together to get people out of jail. You know what I'm saying? And they were fortunate to have the family members that work good jobs that they can afford it. Otherwise, they would have sat in that goddamn hellhole as long as it took until something changed. We have this misconception. I'm going to use this to make this point. They all look at us as savages. Everybody in the hood ain't a gangbanger. Everybody in the hood don't brawl. Everybody in the hood don't shoot people. Everybody ain't built for jail. So you putting kids in jail with grown men that's going to affect them for the rest of their life because they poor and they can't do anything about it. You haven't proved that they was guilty. You haven't even proved they committed a crime. But they get tortured, beat, and raped and disregarded in a place for months and nobody cares about them. They don't want that to happen. It's bad for business. They get money off of inmates. You're taking inmates out of the system. That's not good for business.
That's what it is.
So we know that too, right?
Business and they don't.
But let me give you this
value our
last
lives.
piece, and I'm gonna get out the way, because I always say the shit that I'll be afraid I'll get my friends in trouble. But I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna give you this for thought. Every time I hear white politicians talk about the purge, I think about my childhood. You know what a purge is? It's when the police can kick your door in and it don't matter.
Purge is
when they can kill your kids and get away with it. You talking about that kind of a purge?
Yeah, you're not right.
That's the purge we lived. They can do whatever they wanted to do in our neighborhood to us, and nobody got hurt for it. They went home to their families in the suburbs with the nice flowers and the dogs, and they came to our neighborhood and terrorized us.
Again.
So the fear for them is that might actually happen to them.
Right.
We know what a purge really is. You locking our children up. They getting locked up in jail. They coming out strung out on drugs, messed up in the head. We know what you're doing to our culture. So by letting a few people get out of there for a non-violent offense who don't deserve to be there, we can celebrate that. We need to have more of our people stop listening to the bullshit and celebrate that. But again, until that happens to you,
to them,
and you got to come up with money to get a relative. When it happens, it's your little cousin. This is what you ask somebody. I swear this is it. How would you feel if your son called you or your daughter called you and said, Dad, I'm in jail, and you got to come up with $5,000, and you're poor and you don't have it?
But
what is that? What is that like?
The problem is, Skills, is that when you throw a narrative out there and you're sitting in this big politician chair and you got commercials and campaigns going,
you got money and lawyers.
Yeah.
The first thing people look at is, this is the truth. This is real. So it's that little tidbit that we threw in there about what the judge can actually do, that these are really just for petty crimes. People are not seeing that. They don't understand that. They're not digging in the researcher like we would. You know what I mean? They're really just like, oh shit, this shit about to be crazy. Somebody could just commit a home invasion in my crib.
They could do it anyway.
Well, Well, they base it off of social media and quick propaganda and all the information that we receive on a daily basis. No matter if you have your phone in your hand all the time or not, you're still listening to all. There's so many things, information that we're downloading all the time. They are betting on people not doing their research.
Yes.
They're just betting on them seeing that one little line and being like, oh, the purge, what the fuck? This crazy. Oh, hell no. That's it, because that's where they stop. And then you start talking, and then you start listening to other people, and then you get fired up. Without doing your research and believing in what your values are and what you really believe in and what you take in for being true. It's real hard to find out what's really true and what's not nowadays. But if you look into it and do the research, it's obviously the truth is there.
But it's
you know what I'm saying?
Look,
you just gotta look for it.
But the thing that always, and I always talk about, like and this is kind of like this phrase doesn't make sense, but like the segregation internally between us as a race. Right? I always talk about that because there is so many instances where the people that get so frustrated with the people that don't.
Right.
And we know about it, and the minute you hear
somebody spewing that nonsense instead of educating them, the first thing we'll do is be like, all right, I ain't even finished.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it.
I'm not even arguing.
You ain't even gonna listen.
Right,
So.
you got
Fuck with you on that, right? So
I don't get it.
we all got to do better. Go ahead, Vince.
Because with this, like, I swear all the time, this is where I say, like, common sense is not common. Because my first thought when I saw that ad or that thing on social media, I'm like, one of the things, it was like, oh, if you're accused of a second-degree murder, you know, you just, like, they won't arrest you or whatever the hell it said. And I'm like, that don't even sound
That doesn't even sound right.
Make sense.
sound right. And so then from there, it was like,
It's
all right.
so juvenile.
It's right. It's
ridiculous.
God damn.
on its own merit, it's so ridiculous. And so my next thing was, I was like, all right. One day I was like, I'm tired of seeing these fucking ads.
Right, because at first you're going to let it go.
Yeah,
but then it was
I'm seeing
wait, hold
people
on.
host it, and I'm just like, you know, like you said, I ain't out here getting on no pulpit to change nobody's opinion, but I'm just like, I'm tired of seeing this shit. Let me go on my own and see what this actually is about.
Right.
And when you actually just do a rudimentary research,
Very basic.
very basic.
You don't even have to dig.
You ain't gotta read the whole.
You could
article.
put the purge in on Google.
Right.
The first article, I was like, oh,
the first
okay.
article is that
It's insane.
That's
it's
not it.
The law is not saying if
Yes.
you're
Oh my
charged
God.
with a home invasion, if you're charged with second-degree murder.
All you have to do is
That you-
read the judge
Right.
supersedes
Yeah.
this
And they're
law.
saying the judge still had, like, basically it's saying it's removing cash bail, right? But it's still saying there's still, in the event you're charged with the list of crimes, you still
specify the list.
You still under the jail.
Right, you
They
still
specify.
It's like a flyer.
are getting arrested.
Yes.
It's
You
insane.
still have to have a bail
Of some
hearing
amount, right.
before you get released, and the judge still has discretionary power. Ultimately, it lands with the judge that hears that case to decide whether or not you get bail. So it's not
So
like,
boom, done.
Right, it's not
Right.
like we decide, all right, we're going to run up in somebody's house because we know, okay,
And then we
they
free.
got
We
you.
ain't
good.
We
Like,
can get out and
like,
I
does
could
that
flee
even
the
make
country.
sense?
And come on, man.
Like seeing that, it's the you know, the age old thing of if something sounds, I won't say too good to be true, but something sounds ridiculous or it don't sound
probably
right,
is.
it's probably because it's not right.
not right.
But people want to believe it for two things, and I think Skills hit the nail on it, and I think everybody kind of alluded to it, right? Is that this idea of like the prison industrial complex, it exists. And if there's anything that's going to be done that reduces the amount of people that get fed into that prison industrial complex, there are people that are going to have a problem with that. Because there's a whole subset economy that's built on having people in jail.
Absolutely.
There's a
Big
whole
money.
cottage industry that's built on that.
Big money.
You know, but then also the thing that doesn't get talked about is even with the judge's ability to have discretion where bail is concerned, there's still inadequacies between what, you know, let's say fraud. A white person that gets charged with fraud, what their bail is.
Absolutely.
Versus what a black person.
It's going to be low to high.
It's still low to high. So, like, this doesn't, even with this law taking effect, it's still not going to cure all the ills that's in our legal system.
Well, the main reason is because the judge still has
exactly.
Right.
So you could be just like steal a pack of gum, and they could be like, no, you ain't getting out.
Because when you stole that pack, I seen a twitch in your eye, and you look like you're a murderer.
Yeah, so, I mean,
what are you?
But now,
white Republicans, what are you fucking?
But now
complaining about?
But now we've created enough fear, and check this out. We've created enough fear now, so when that happens, people will applaud it. when you up on there for some minor ass crime and they still give you a ridiculous ass bail amount, people are gonna say, okay, good. Mm-hmm. Because they've already created the fear that they're letting criminals run the street.
Well, that's the fear, right? And that will you can bleed into shit like martial law and all types of things when you create this fear, and that's exactly what they're doing. That's a great point. And I guess we could just
read. Damn it!
Just Google.
The biggest thing we could take away from this is white Republicans, the Republican Party, have a huge issue with not being able to snatch money from poor people.
Period.
They have an issue with that.
Period.
And now they're going to create this propaganda, whereas the criminals are going to run wild on your ass and you're not going to be able to. And the poor people, the people with low income,
we're still fucked.
Ain't trying to fucking. Let me look up some. Wait, they ain't reading that shit, man. Right. They do that purposely. It's a written agenda that they
now, because guess what? Who's fired up? The white people ain't fired up. He's fired up. We in here like, oh hell no. We
maybe we do need to listen to these. No,
but see,
guys,
it's another tactic.
Not it.
Yeah. To where they like, oh, we gonna sprinkle this out a little bit. Say this and omit this information until it blows up, and then we be like, no, that's not what we meant.
Right.
We didn't mean that.
Because that's exactly what they're gonna do, Candace.
That's what they do.
They're gonna bring it back to like you guys are tripping.
Y'all said that. We didn't say that.
The whole statement wrong.
Yeah.
This is what we really were saying, and they still won't say anything. So yes.
I could go down the rabbit.
Oh, it's
we
the whole thing.
We could go crazy with that,
the
man.
whole thing.
But just
read.
Sometimes
just read, man. Just look it up for yourself.
Do a little research.
Please.
Guys, Jackson's still not getting proper warning. But I tell you what they are doing.
Now, where's the outrage in that shit?
Well, I tell you what they are doing, though. They're giving Brett Favre $6 million of welfare money so he can build a new volleyball gym for his daughter's school.
He didn't know.
That must be one hell of a volleyball gym.
There were text messages.
$6 million?
But he didn't know.
$6 million?
I don't even know what a volleyball gym looks like.
Maybe I'm off of this.
Oh, you might be off. Just a little bit.
Maybe it was 5. Excuse me. It was 5.
Yeah.
A
$5 million volleyball gym.
So
really?
For what? Why didn't he give some of his money? Why wasn't he?
He got plenty of it.
This is the joke in all this, right?
Tell me that.
So the only reason that it's funny to me, it's laughable that he claims that this is an untrue statement when the only reason why this is coming out is because there were text messages between him
and a state official
and the representative
in Mississippi pleaded guilty to fraud.
It was leaked.
Yeah, related to this.
Was seen, and there was a person that also admitted to it, and he's still claiming
he's like, no.
I don't know about y'all, but when I found out the great Brett Favre was from Mississippi and he was white, I knew he was a little racist. I knew he was.
He's from Mississippi and he's white.
He admitted it.
He said boy more than other people. I knew that. He from Mississippi. He done said boy 1,000 times.
I didn't know that.
He like when you deal with sports, right? It's so hard. Now I'll give you an example, right? If we're on a team, right? Mm-hmm. We're on a football team. We're retired, long gone now, right? But our quarterback was a racist guy from Mississippi. Mm-hmm. In that locker room, he wasn't. I've known plenty of racist people from all different types of cultures that they hate niggas, but they love the shit out of me.
Right.
Like, man, I fucking love
the good ones.
All day.
You one of the good ones.
Man, you're this, you're that. Right?
You're different.
You're not like them.
You're different.
And they say little things. So, real quick story. Like, I used to work at this collection agency. I put him on blast. His name was Rob. I don't remember his last name. Rob. I worked for this collection agency called John C. Bonowitz. there was an instance where I guess we worked in the Merchandise Mart building. Mm-hmm. So we had a suite like towards the end, and then there was a consultant company right across from us, and then there was another company, but we all shared the same bathroom. And I guess there was a situation whereas we were being loud in the bathroom, or, so the consultant company complained about it, right? So they brought the information back to our owner, and then I guess the owner brought it to the GM, who was Rob. When Rob caught wind of it, again, like when I gave y'all the story about my daughter, how she was a leader in the class, but using it. So it was the same way with me. Like I was one of my character is very not aggressive.
You have a very
I do what I do.
Yeah.
Presence is the perfect word. That's why I like kids. So my presence was there. So Rob brought me into his office. If it wasn't, I never thought I would be a witness. I've talked about it before, but I never thought I'd be a witness to racism like this, right? He brought me in the office and was like, yeah, so they, such and such, and I ain't gonna say their names because they my people. Yeah, I fuck with them. So they were just being loud in the bathroom, and I didn't know where this was going, but I'm listening. I'm like, okay, all right. And you know how sometimes that subliminal racism don't hit you right away, but then you'll go sit down and be like,
you be like, wait a minute.
Yeah, man.
That was fucked
So he
up.
was like, so I don't want them to get in any trouble. I don't want anybody to lose their jobs. Now I'm on it. Like, all right, you didn't call me. Like, these my people. We can't afford to lose our jobs. But if you could talk to them, because I know I could talk to you about it, because I know you know how to talk and articulate. You're different. These are his exact words. You're different.
Yeah.
So it just so happened that all the guys he wanted me to speak to were black.
Of course. Because that's what's going to be loud in the...
So now I'm getting it, but I'm still like, all right.
He wants you
then
to
I
walk.
sat down.
Right. He wants you to
sat down
be
and I was like, man, hold on, man. Like, that was some of the most racist shit I ever been involved in, bro. And
what they call it, microaggression?
That's the shit that go down with
all the time
with this shit. And it's like, we're not making this stuff up. Like, it is literally a disconnect.
And it's
between
all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
If they know we, like, everybody on this panel, I'm sure, like, white people has given you this type of gratification and interaction and involvement that says, like, you're not like
them, or you're separate.
I can hold a conversation with you,
or you're better. You're better than
facts. Yeah, and we never do that to the white people. You know what I mean?
We don't give a fuck.
Because that's not even our thought process.
That's not even how we get down.
It's insulting to them. So, real quick. So I'm in an interview.
It's crazy, right?
For a big position. I'm in an interview. I'm interviewing with two ladies.
I got so many stories like this. Go ahead, bro.
But I'm finishing the interview, and they say, basically, tell me, why do you feel like you're good? The whole thing.
Yeah.
You give them their reason or whatever. So I break down every facet of what I do that made me qualify for the job, right? I guess she was impressed with what I said. She said, I always knew you were a very good speaker. You speak very well.
Nobody.
So you got to keep a straight face in an interview. It's for big money. It's for my family. You don't have that keep it real money right now. You get through it, and then you sit to yourself, and you ask yourself the obvious question. How many white men did you compliment on how they speak? Speaking well.
None.
And being good speakers.
Zero.
None in your life.
You know why?
But to us, that should be an ultimate compliment.
Yeah.
We should appreciate that they acknowledge that. And it's almost like, well, we're not saying you're part of us, but we're saying
you're better
you can be around us a little bit more than them. And it puts you exactly how you feel in that moment
is exactly how you should feel in that moment. You're never treated as an equal. You're treated as if you're in there, and especially if it's collections, I already know what this is.
Bro.
You gotta have a professional tone, you gotta sound professional, like the whole thing. And there are so many of us who can articulate ourselves very well and can speak. Like it's not a big deal to us. But to see them look at us as if there's so few of us that can do that, that's insulting. So if it's a white man in the interview and you tell him that, he'll be insulted and he'll say something in that moment.
So like in the collection field, what's crazy is that you have to be very savvy in your speech. Right? And how you interact with people and how you basically get them to pay a bill that they fucked over. Right?
Or ignored.
Completely. Like you can, throw little civil legal threats through, but nothing. You have to interact with them. And I think they know that one of our talents is socialism. Like we're just a social people. Like
absolutely.
You know why? Because there's no white people are so judgmental. I feel like that. White people are so judgmental. We're not. We talked about this in previous episodes where you were stating that if the shoe was on the other foot and we got the opportunity to do this, this, and this, we're going to forgive and move on, right?
The vast majority.
As a human being, we all have some traits where we're vindictive and we're vengeful.
Of course, we're human.
But as a race of people, we're not anywhere near as judgmental.
We don't care. Are you good?
We're done.
You good?
We're done.
Yeah,
we'll go into it. We'll engage
all
heavy,
day.
but then the next day, boom. But they hold that. They hold that, and they'll figure out. This is where privilege steps in at too.
Yeah.
They'll hold it, and they'll figure out how to move around, and it's tactical for them. They'll be acting like we're hunky dory, but they're plotting behind the scenes to get you going. And we're not built like that. Is that to our detriment, or is? And I know we were talking about Brett Favre, but
it's the same thing because he was able. It's the same thing because it's his privilege being used. It's the fact that you can go to a government official and he could finagle a way to give you funds that's supposed to go to the poorest state in America.
Yeah.
Could Warren Moon have did that?
And cop that money.
You use that money. Now, you didn't use that money. It doesn't really matter what you use that money for. You didn't use it what you were supposed to.
Right.
But you use it for your daughter's college, for a volleyball gym because she plays volleyball for that school.
Allegedly.
Right.
And you are a millionaire.
That's what I'm saying.
You could do it yourself.
You can do it.
His net
I have
worth
a
is
fundraiser.
$100 million.
Look.
He could have came up with $5
He know enough
the
rich
stadium
people.
was $5 million. He could have came up with that and it wouldn't have put a dent in his.
But he wouldn't even have to put up all his own money. He could have called his friends.
Have a
his
little
business
fundraiser,
partners.
all
They
his
could
rich
have all put
friends,
in.
they'd have
He
gave him
didn't
the
have
money.
to do that.
Meanwhile, there's
But he could do it.
Water.
There are people on welfare whose benefits.
And let's not go into after the pandemic and where people are at. Because it's even
It's just
more
amazing,
so.
man.
Y'all know what it is though.
White privilege.
It's that. It's that also wrapped into the idea that in this case, welfare funds that are supposed to go to the poorest of or let me not say that, to the people who need it the most.
Right.
In this case, to what Skill said, in the most, by far, the most poorest state in the nation.
It's not even by far, like you said. By far.
It is. You had people, government officials, who essentially decided that the people who needed that money the most didn't deserve to have that money.
Right.
Period.
And you know who did deserve it? of a volleyball team at the University of Southern Mississippi.
From the father of a millionaire.
From the father of an alum of the University of Southern Mississippi.
This is Jackson, Mississippi, right? It's Jackson, right?
Right.
No, is it Jackson?
It's
no, Jackson is where the water crisis is happening.
Right, but that's why I'm asking.
Same state, though.
It's
But
in
it's
the
not.
same state.
But this is the thing I'm saying for that point. That's why I wanted to be clear about where it was. It's not just black people that live in Jackson, Mississippi.
No.
It's taken away from
Just
the low,
the underprivileged
But
in
that's
general.
my point of it. It's like it's whites living in Jackson that's suffering just as much.
Yeah, this isn't a black and white thing.
Rich
it
and
is
poor.
it is a class thing
Period.
and a privilege thing, and that's it.
As soon as we catch on to that, what the young man was trying to do back in the day, man, with the Black Panthers, man, they got him up out of there, man. What he was trying to do is to get all of the people together to be on the same page because we all are in the same boat together. Are you rich?
Finest.
No, I'm not rich. Then you with
Chi-Town
us.
finest.
No matter what they tell you, you're in the same boat as us if you're not rich.
But the reason
What
why
happened to
they
him
do
too, by the
Jackson,
You know exactly what happened to
the
him.
reason why let me be careful with saying this. But the
Shout
reason
out to
why,
Fred Hampton, by the way.
like,
Chairman Fred.
the reason why people have allowed what's going on in Jackson with the water crisis to go on the way it's going on is because Jackson, Mississippi is another example of things we've seen in other, even larger states in this nation. There's a white flight epidemic. White folks move out of these cities.
Mm-hmm.
They leave, in this case, black people and the poor white people who can't afford to move out.
Mm-hmm.
The white folks who leave, they take all of the economics and all of the tax base, all of that with them, leave the residents who remain with a broken shell.
With nothing.
With nothing. Expect them to make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
It sounds like the backlash of this term called gentrification. Right?
It's like the
it's
like the opposite. Well, white flight. It's the white flight.
Yeah.
But you leave, it's just like
You bring all this
in the 70s and the 80s when all the white people wanted to leave the city to the low income people and they wanted the burbs. Now, what do they want?
They want to come back.
They didn't got priced out.
And they're building all these fucking
so now they can price all the
$200,000 condos, and now y'all can have the burbs now. We don't want it. Y'all can have.
But please leave where we're going. Please leave where we're at.
Believe.
But then when they're ready to go, they're gonna take all, like he said, they're gonna take them businesses and the money that they brought, and they're gonna take it out. And now we're left with
the backlash
shit.
of
We're left with
gentrification.
nothing. Empty, big ass buildings that people can't afford to move into.
You know how
all of the businesses that we had are gone. And they took their restaurants and the grocery stores, and now we're left with just empty fucking buildings.
I mean, I know it's piling it
Right, and then
on.
they're like, y'all had what do you need?
I know it's piling it on.
Empty lots are like out west and out south. But guess what's eventually going to happen? They're going to be bought up by
white people.
That's why I tell
people
you.
with money.
This is the reason why, like the whole city, this shit is a wave. You know what I mean? Like, so they built this 606 trail. I don't know if y'all know what the 606
of course.
trail is. It starts at Ashland and it ends at Lawndale, which is about 4 blocks away from Pulaski and North Avenue.
Right?
So, and they're stretching it now, Candace.
Oh, are they stretching it
They're going
out?
to stretch it. So it's gonna stretch from Ashland and it's getting further and
Okay,
further
so that
into-
means people are building houses and condos because they're not going to just stretch it because white people ain't going to just run their little asses down.
Everything in Humboldt Park, and we all know what Humboldt Park is. They even considered, they petitioned to try to take the flags down on Division. They petitioned to do that, but there's so
Please
many.
tell me they lost.
There's so many
Latino aldermen and politicians,
it's like,
in
hell
Humboldt Park, they gonna have a big. That's a heavy task.
Yeah.
But the gentrification is real. It's stretching.
Very.
When you think of like where you used to stay at, right? Like you think about North Lawndale.
Yeah.
That's 15 minutes away from downtown.
Yeah.
They want that area.
Yeah.
They want that location.
They've been finding it.
You can take it back to Cabrini Green.
You see?
Oh
well,
my
you already
God.
know what
That's a
Cabrini
whole
Green
other
is.
thing.
It's over with.
That you can even take it to Wicker Park right now, where like
Wicker Park used to be fucked up.
it's crazy. You go
Nolan
down there
Square,
now, and you
Vince, where you
Logan
at
Square.
now?
It's
Look at Vince
He's
reaping
like-
the benefits from gentrification.
but it's okay because he living. He black and living.
Hey man, I
You
remember
stay
when I
where
used
you
to when we used to visit Auntie Valerie, it was a little fucked up over there, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. We used to play like by the as cuz we used to play by the little fire lane.
Oh man.
My mama didn't really like me fucking around over there, man. But it's just like
Yeah.
Wicker Park is the spot now. And it was
But it ain't. It is, but it ain't.
You know
like
what I mean?
you go there, you're like, this is not.
It's high price.
It's high
right?
price,
So
yeah.
anything close to downtown, they want. They want. And
But they greedy, fam. That's what I'm about to tell you.
Oh,
No, they don't just want that. They want their suburbs too.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like they
you're right.
just want you at a specific section of it.
Yeah, they just don't want us.
They have a certain
yeah.
area where they say, okay, you can live there.
Yeah.
And then that's it for you.
Yep.
Well, redlining, we can get into all of that.
They don't want you to have any of that.
It is like
I mean, that's
so,
what
I
it
want you
is.
to be where we designate you to be.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure you're close to the police stations, you're close to the fire departments,
close to the liquor stores.
close to the liquor stores.
Close to the churches.
We know where we want to have you. You know, we
gonna
want
keep
to,
you
that's why they're doing all this
fat and hungry
construction.
and drunk.
That's what we want you.
And then you can go pray in the morning.
Like
You stay there.
that's
go
all
pray in
y'all
the
need.
morning.
That's all y'all need.
Get fucked up right after prayer.
And
Sit
go eat
y'all
you
asses
some
in
fast
church for 4.5
with
hours.
With, it's
You stay there.
It is a design that is so obvious, but what the fuck you gonna do?
But the beauty of it is, at this age, it's
Build
not
your own foundation.
uncommon.
Facts.
I mean, we still got
where
options.
you at.
Every time our culture is trying to be excluded from something, we always show up with flip-flops on. That's what we do. We don't want you know what I'm saying, in the Hamptons. Like, that's ours. You got 4 or 5 black people got property in the Hamptons. They having parties. You seeing a whole bunch of black people acting a fool in the Hamptons. You can't tell us where we can go. All of these places, all of these beaches, all of these beautiful, extravagant places that they
But
just
when
want to
we
have
have
for
our
themselves.
They burn it down.
Yeah,
We
because
tried that already.
yeah, they don't. We ain't
It's
tried
like,
it since.
okay,
we never
where
tried
do
it
we
again
go?
since.
What do we do?
We got to do
take
what
up
they
space
do.
because we always gonna take up space.
Well, first of all,
Or do
Steelers,
us.
Let's put this in perspective. Where we can't just jump in and do what they do. Only because I know what you're saying, and I know, like, we've been down this road before.
Man.
So I know what you're talking about, but at the same time, there has to be a certain agenda that we have to walk into this.
So that's not wrong.
We can't
It's not
walk
wrong.
into
Can have an
this
agenda.
like blind, but that agenda is extreme hard work. And I'll give you an example here. Like, there are, when we talk about privilege, there are so many white people that have just benefited through the color of their skin.
Yeah.
There's certain,
I mean, in a way.
But human nature tells us that, first of all, everybody is not meant for leadership.
Right.
Is that fair to say? Everybody is not meant for activism. Is
Right.
that fair to
Yes.
say?
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Some people just need to follow the wave that is put in front of them.
I mean, yeah, for
If
sure.
you're not designed with this privilege that we know fucking exists, and we just treat this like certain
African American and black people do say, well, the problem is we just not vibing together, and they don't vibe together either. But they have this thing called privilege that links them into a better scenario,
where they don't even need to. They don't need to
fuck
agree
with each other or if they don't. Yeah. We're asked to all fuck with each other, even if we don't want to, because human nature says, Candace, you tripping. I'm not fucking with you. Right. But now that's going to set us back a couple. You know what I mean?
So this is how I look at that. I know what you're saying. I feel you, but this is the difference.
And there's not enough of us to make a change.
There's a whole lot.
We're still 13, maybe 14, maybe 15 now. We're still on 15% of the country too, by the way. Go ahead.
The one thing that all come, because I've had this conversation with a whole lot of different people. They gave me their perspective on it. It's not really different in their perspective. But the one thing that's consistent that we all need to understand is trust. Because when you live in these areas where they don't fuck with each other, they shit on the person. A white person will look you in the face and say, oh, he's a piece of shit, and then vote for him. That's not the agenda. The agenda is he's the best person to get what we want. 100%. It's trust. If we have somebody we can trust, if the alderman, let's take this example. I know people my wife worked with, their parents was mayors of these suburbs and shit, bro. Right. How they do business is in the best interest of the people of that community. What do you need? Well, we don't want those speed lights out here. Don't bring that shit out here. Guess what? They don't got them out there. There's not one speed light out there. They're not getting these random tickets. We say in the city, hey, that's our alderman, man. Hey, that's our mayor, man. Hey, we don't want them cameras. We don't want that shit over here. You're going to get what we give you.
Yeah.
We tolerate that. They don't. The minute you don't give them what they asked for, they plead for a vote because they already done found your replacement. They all came together, found the replacement. They all put their support behind that candidate. They get them in office. They get what they want. If we trust each other, we can do things. We don't trust each other. We hate on each other.
Or we just don't do anything. We give up and
we hate on. You did this music shit, dog. You done went to places and you know you deserve to have your music played. And they hate it, bro.
There's one proponent that you're missing.
We don't have trust. Who's the one person we can go to and say, well, as a culture, we're gonna all put our money together and give it to you to do what you need to do in our community. Who do we trust to do that?
There's one proponent that you're missing, though, with what you're talking about, and that is the poor doesn't have a voice. So in this country, and you tell me if this is coincidence or if it's structured like this. In every state in this country, the population of poverty-stricken environments, the percentage is the high percentage of it is black and brown people. So you tell me where you have time enough during the day to worry about shit like that. And why let's start here, like why is if you go to Chicago, New York, LA, any fucking state you can think of, why are the poverty-stricken environments mainly black and brown people? Why?
It's two reasons.
Is it because we just don't have the get up and go mentality?
No, that's not the only reason. It's more than one reason, though. Okay. And it's not just one reason. We already understand we're in a racist society dominated by white supremacy.
We don't.
For those who still ain't got it, good, God bless them, because there's so many of us that actually know it and understand it. Bro, it's a lot of people that know damn well.
You think it's more so than not? You think it's more of us? It's obvious every day.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's more of us that acknowledge that we're in a white supremacist world than we ever have in our life.
Yeah, but what is it more of us that are doing something about that?
No. This is the difference.
There are a lot of people that's trying to do something about it. But this is the difference.
Not a lot of people.
There are a lot of people in different.
But I think there's not enough people, and we don't have
of power.
Of power. That's what I was gonna say. We don't have enough people in power to do that.
We can't say that anymore, man. We got so many cities where we got our own mayors, we got our own aldermen, we got our own governors.
I don't know. I just feel like this just wasn't
pawns in the game, my nigga.
Bro, it's all a pawn. It's all a pawn. Everybody know to play the game the right way.
There's a ceiling placed on Lori Lightfoot more so than J.B. Pritzker. J.B. Pritzker is a fucking billionaire, bro, and he ain't gotta give a fuck because his skin ain't brown, and even though all these Republicans are fucking hating on his ass, he fucking around and getting in office again.
But who's the spotlight?
Lori Lightfoot got
black, female, and gay.
She's black, she's a female, and she's gay.
Like everybody's like, what is she doing? What is she not doing?
You're not wrong. And I'm not. And here's the thing: where you probably think you getting my statements misconstrued, like you think I'm just throwing up the flag.
No, I don't think that.
And giving up. But I'm saying we have to recognize how blatant the disadvantage is,
bro. It's
before
blatant.
We could just have these thoughts of just like optimism and say, yeah, we can do this if we just think like this. We can do this.
There's so much proof
but it's
that
certain
it don't
things
work to just be like that.
And it's proof that it does work. When we say that we're going to vote for a candidate and put our support behind them, we fucking do it. I'm talking about not him. I'm talking about mayors. I'm talking about governors.
You're right.
I'm talking about Chicago in general.
Black women,
when we decide who we fuck with, that's the person that wins.
But we choose when to do that. It's not all the time.
That's the problem. When we choose aldermen for our communities.
But that's the thing that's not being educated.
But that's still a problem for those who know better. It's like, bro, the people, you go vote.
How many people have you talked to about this?
Bro, I know people.
How many people
do this
have
shit?
The people that don't know no better, and I'm sure you know plenty of them. Have you gotten more frustrated than educated?
I haven't got frustrated. I've had conversations I do in that moment. That's why I can't. If you're frustrated, they won't listen to you. So you got to understand what they say and then speak back to them. So I don't get frustrated. Inside, my head is shaking back and forth. In front of them, I'm patient. I'm explaining it. But this is what I tell them. You have the common sense, no matter what your education level is. You know that your neighborhood's fucked up. You're not confused about that. You know that the people that you're voting for has not changed it. You're not confused about that. That's not a part that we can't. And when you say it to them, you say, bro, why do you keep voting for them? Nothing changed? I don't know. Like, they know that nothing has changed.
Because
all I'm saying
human
is, and I can be optimistic, fam.
Adapt to their environment.
Just try it.
Give up.
It's the same, like white people have
a lot of people just give up.
Have the same like
two things can be
mentality.
True. Two things can be true.
We just have to work harder than the average than humans. Like, we have to be beyond human.
Let's just try it. That's all I say. For all the years that
to be beyond human.
No, let's just try and say, hey, we're gonna back this candidate. This lady or man said they're gonna do this for our community.
They don't do
that.
Yes, they
do, fam.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
They go to all of those
meetings. There's plenty of white people that do not vote.
Give me an example.
No, I'm not saying as a whole they all do, but a lot of them do.
Give me an example of where it worked for you, where you talk to somebody and you know that you having this conversation has made them change or vote or change their mind.
Shots.
Like, yeah.
Tell
me,
give
me an example because honestly,
there's several people I came across in my life. Honestly, this ain't no sauce. I'm flat out honest. I have changed how they going about their life. I have changed their perspective. They have become better men. That has actually happened to me before, just on some real shit.
Yeah.
But in terms of this is all I'm saying. The question was in regards to what the problem is. We recognize the problem. We've had this conversation 10 plus years about the problem. It's the same problem. All I'm saying is,
You act like
at
it's a
some
fucking,
point,
you act like it's just
Sounds like the
no,
Bears.
it's just annoying. It is like the
Same
Bears.
problem. Same
It's just like the
problem.
fucking Bears. Like,
It's
when
not.
are we gonna stop
It's
doing the
not
stupid
like
shit?
the fucking Bears.
Stop doing the stupid shit. We already
What
get
stupid
it.
shit are we doing?
We can choose who we vote for. We do it for other people.
100%.
Why
I
can't
agree
we
with
do
you.
it
I
for
do.
us?
But man,
That's all I'm saying.
I
You got
agree with
people
you.
who are capable of going to the polls, standing in the cold, standing in the rain for a candidate that doesn't look like us and doesn't represent us. If we can do it for them,
think about
why
this.
can't we do it for us?
But this is the
What if
thing.
there's no candidate
There's
running that
no
looks like
That's
you?
true.
There's always a candidate. Bro, tell me a time in Chicago history that you've been alive.
There's over 50
Well, there wasn't-
You've been alive. That there's not been a black candidate for alderman
Yeah, but
in
were
our
they the best
area.
candidate? Were they the best candidate?
When?
Were they the best candidate?
This is a heavy
No,
one.
honestly.
We can
This is a heavy
choose
one.
that.
It's a lot.
We having
So
a
I tell you what.
with this
I tell you what. We don't have to. Then let's
We
keep
gon-
doing
this- we can-
what we already doing.
No, it's not that.
I don't
You making
see-
it seem like
I'm making
you
it seem like, bro, we
like
can't-
it's like okay.
We say the same
all
thing.
inequality is stopped if you
No.
just vote for the right alderman.
Right.
Like,
I'm
you
saying,
making it seem like
no,
it's
I'm
just
saying
like
one at a
that's
time
the
it will.
issue.
The alderman, I knew people personally whose family was into the politics. I knew somebody personally whose father was the alderman. My sister worked for the alderman's office. I know what they're capable of. I know the money that they get for the community.
What neighborhood was he in?
I was in the it was Lundale area. So whatever, the 24th, 25th.
How long ago was that?
That was my whole childhood till I was a teenager. It was Alderman Chandler. He was the same alderman over there for all of that time.
Mel's
That
like,
wasn't a great neighborhood over there.
It wasn't a great neighborhood. That's the point. That's what I'm trying to tell you what I understand. But my point is this. When I understood what they had access to and what could have made a difference to my community, aldermen have more things. Now, you're not going to fix everything. You don't need to fix everything. You know what you need? The things that you need. You need grocery stores. You need jobs for kids. You need medical supplies.
No,
you need
I
medical
agree. I
centers.
agree, for sure.
You need supply. You need
Yes.
funding for schools.
you need a community, not a Target
Your
or another
alderman
Walgreens or
is the guy
aldermans are the ones
that
do
gets
that.
that funding for those things.
They're gonna attach chips, bread, and
That's
ground
gonna happen
beef
no
to
matter
the
what.
nearest liquor store.
That's gonna happen. No
If
matter
you got this is like the Suge Knight treatment. If you the guy that get the check, you determine how much everybody get. Now, if you're the person who get the check, then you're an honorable man. That's a different scenario.
Where they at?
But they get the money for these things for your community. It's a real thing. So if we're saying the things that we need in our community comes from this person, we can choose who that person is.
I would like to bring in somebody that has firsthand experience with politics. I know him personally, by the way. I would like to bring in somebody that has firsthand experience with politics and let you know that there's more than just what you're saying. I just would. I know somebody who...
Is he going to tell me that aldermen do not get these funds for their communities? Because I would debate that for whenever anyone says
You're
that to
a great
me.
debater.
I am
It's not
very
like
aware of what aldermen are
Denzel
capable of
Washington
doing.
movie either.
They
I'm
can
just
do
saying,
it.
All I'm saying is that have an open mind. Don't be so fucking harsh with your.
I'm not
with your,
harsh.
pride.
He's
I
passionate.
get here.
He's
I get
passionate.
here. I do this with my. If my kids come to me all the time, he say, "Dad, I don't know what it is, but I'm always late for school." I say, "Well, fat man, you don't get up on time." No, that ain't it.
That's easy. That's cutting.
That ain't it.
That's
this,
different.
it can't be
that.
That's
It's a terrible
different.
analogy.
That's
We
different.
vote for
Do we all
people who
agree on
don't
the panel that
represent
that was
us.
a terrible analogy?
It's a very terrible.
It is
Y'all need to
not.
agree
We
to
vote for people
disagree.
Yeah,
that don't represent
think
Y'all
us.
need to agree to
This is
disagree.
not gonna be where we all agree. I agree.
We continue to do the
Let's-
same
let's-
thing.
let's-
Because I
raise our
think we
cups.
agree with you.
Let's
but
raise our cups. I don't never agree with him. About
It don't matter.
I just love him.
I don't need you to agree. Just love me.
cheers to y'all.
Cheers to the 606 with it.
Watch me. Watch
I'm
me.
watching
Right.
you. All right.
I tell you what, just prove me wrong.
I'm gonna bring
Just
him
try
on.
it.
Bring him on.
Let's try it.
I'm gonna bring him on. Let's move. Let's get past this. Man.
Right.
All right, you wrong, I'm right. Listen,
I'm just playing with you. You know I love you.
Fam, I love you. I still mean what I said.
I know you do. I know. Let's move to a more serious, and we all need to be very, very precise and exact about our statements here. This is a very serious topic.
Here we go.
One of the most sexiest, beautiful. I can't even, I don't have many words to describe this black queen. She was one of the women that I mean,
we all, I aspired to be her, and y'all probably
I'm talking about
wanted to be with her.
Yes.
Right?
Neil was sexy, man.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Vince, can you say his name, please? I don't even know how to pronounce this bitch ass name.
Udoka.
Udoka, you dumbass.
A dummy. He's a dummy.
But I had to put that out there because a lot of my guys were really distraught. Bless you.
Thank you.
Queen.
Yeah, I'm
a lot of my guys were really distraught about how the fuck you gonna cheat on Neil Long and this
wait, he's significantly younger than her, correct? Right?
I believe he is.
He was a younger.
He's younger.
He's in his 30s.
Yeah.
Right?
And she's
30s,
like
early 40s at most.
I don't even think that. I don't think he's in his 40s. I think he's younger.
He's in his 30s,
like at least 10 years younger than her.
50?
Yeah, something
She's
about that.
At least scraping.
He was a lot younger than her.
He's 45.
Nia's 45?
No, it may.
Oh, he's 45? Okay, I'm sorry.
So they about the same.
Okay.
You did.
So he just dumb.
Yeah,
Okay. They can't even put the age on there. My bad.
She would be 52 at the end.
Oh, then that ain't. He just dumb.
About a 6 year.
So,
He just dumb.
I think the scenario here is he fucked up. He cheated on Neil Long, his beautiful wife, his beautiful black queen.
Fiance? Were they married?
They were not married.
Getting married.
Stand to be
They
corrected.
were, yeah.
I think the bigger issue here is the Boston Celtics suspended him.
He lost his job for
1 year. Suspended indefinitely.
because of this.
And then, so they suspended him, and then they said that, he's suspended indefinitely for the whole season. He can't play.
Why?
Because their policy is
ethics policy.
Code of conduct.
You don't cheat on your wife?
Yeah. No. It's.
I know. I'm confused.
You can't have sexual relations with
subordinate, basically.
with people that are on that work for the organization.
It was someone that
somebody
makes
within
sense.
the organization.
God, he real dumb.
I think the question lies within, why wasn't this person? And then so this person was not suspended, and they haven't even given the identity of this person. But what they were saying was that because he was in a position of power, because she was in a position of power, stupid. Because he was in a position of power, he was in a position of power. That's the reason why they suspended him and not her.
But my whole thing is, in all honesty,
I got a question regarding this too.
I don't even need to know the name of the woman, but I think the thing that I'm bothered by is, you suspend him. Okay, let's put this in two different areas. Let's put consent to the backside, just because I think
because that's what that word that was being flirted around.
Let's put consent in its own thing, and I'm gonna make this statement with the assumption that this was a consensual relationship.
Okay.
My issue is that this was a fully consensual relationship. We know he contributed to it. We know he suspended. We know he violated the team's rules. But to your point, I don't need to know. Quite honestly, I don't even want to know the woman's name.
Right.
But you've heard nothing about, hey, she got suspended.
Nothing.
She was at least at some point she was a willing participant. You've heard nothing about that, and
all you heard was consensual.
All you heard was that it was consensual, and that I want to be careful with this. Allegedly, at one point, or the thing I've heard was that it started out as consensual, and that at some point, I'll be careful with this. A power dynamic got involved in this. And people kind of wanted to say it started out as consensual, but then maybe at one point it wasn't consensual. And
what do you mean about
we can go down a whole other way
rabbit hole
with how that changed.
If you don't do this position,
but
then
you also
is that what you mean by power dynamic?
I don't think that's
no.
what.
But then you also hear that
cocaine is
it sounds like her husband. Once her husband found out about this, that's when everything kind of went down.
Do we know who her husband is?
We don't know who her husband is, but supposedly
he must have some kind of.
Maybe he works for the organization.
I mean, he has to have some kind of.
Maybe he got a big role in the organization.
Like the Celtics created this.
This is the thing. If she was just some chick,
so this is where I rock.
They wouldn't have
she would have already been out there.
And I'm with you. I don't always rock with.
But he was spot on.
He was spot on with this.
Speak on it.
Because
all right, Stephen A. I see you.
He said there have been other instances where high-profile coaches, high-profile members of organizations have had relationships with other people in the organization. And he's like, we don't know the who's, the what's. All we know is that it's handled internally. And you might find out that this person is no longer with the organization.
Very quiet.
And they leave it at that. It's all handled very quietly.
They protect them.
And all the details behind it, we don't know about it. But in this situation, we're getting way more information about this than we have. And I agree with this. Based on what we know so far, it does seem like there's a personal element to this where they are out to get this dude.
Yep.
Like, and let me say this. They're out to get him with me saying that I don't condone what he does.
No, absolutely
at
not.
all. Because I'm with you, Bill. What I found, I'm like, how do you?
Yeah, right. Why would you do that?
How you?
And there ain't no way that lady was better than Nia, but
and you know. Whatever. But
hey, I'm gonna go last, man.
And I've seen pictures of the person who they say.
Tell me, is she? She cool.
Ain't none of those pictures the real picture part.
I'm sure she's nice.
I promise you.
She not Nia.
But either way,
right.
I'm with y'all. Like, how
I know. But again, that's the conversation, right?
to
us, we're like.
It's almost like and I feel what you're saying, Vince, and then you could dialogue on the two skills. Is as long as you don't go left like you did in the last.
I go left.
Thing I'm gonna say
I do. I go left.
And the end result is
I go left.
The way they putting them out there like this, it's like, because we all know it's a different set of rules. This might be it for him as far as his ability to coach.
You already
for sure.
I think we've highlighted that situation.
Right.
Period.
So there's I get what you're saying, where there's like more to it, to where they were like, okay, we could use this.
Yeah, it's more to it.
So I just feel like, and
Nia just got caught up.
So here's the thing that a wandering mind thinks, like my wandering mind, like it's a couple things. I do think of racism because that's just how this country has me. I'm Boston. I'm very defensive when it comes to race. And one of the main reasons is you took it out of my mouth.
I'm sorry.
You're in Boston.
It's Boston.
Right? Yeah. And also I'm thinking like, and this is how his name could get tarnished, even though this isn't a story. Was it really consensual? And then is Boston just like kind of covering shit up because they don't want to have anything to do with like a sexual harassment.
I'm sorry, but
that's how it started, because first they were saying, "Oh, it was a consensual relationship." Then you started to hear, "Oh, it was a consensual relationship until it wasn't." Yeah. And then I'm like,
what does that even mean?
What does that mean?
And I'm like,
Facts.
that's a stick, and that's where I'm like, that's a real slippery slope.
Yep.
Because consent can mean a
whole,
number of different things.
it's a thin
Right,
line.
it can mean
A lunch.
But the thing is, now being a woman can be like, you were fine with it, but once you say no, it's a wrap.
Right.
Yeah.
But all you have to do is say, it was consensual until it wasn't, and that's all you have to say. So it doesn't even matter what the story was. They could have been in a whole ass relationship, doing their thing, having sex, whatever. But once you plant that seed, that's all you need. And so now her husband or Nia or whoever are just like, oh, now this wasn't what it was, and so it just takes it down another path when it didn't have to go there.
And if that was the case, then that's the case.
Because
but
the thing is, if that one wasn't consensual, best believe that lady would have been like, nah, this is not what I want, is what I'm saying.
And was she a Caucasian lady, Vince?
Is
okay,
she?
so this is where and to Skills' point, this is where it all gets a little murky.
Here's the catcher.
You fucked up.
Because when it first started, people were putting pictures on the web of this sister who's a vice president, either VP or SVP in their organization. I mean, this sister's brilliant. She went to Harvard. I think she played for either.
She's an athlete.
Yeah, she played. Okay. I know she played college ball. I think she might have played professionally. But they
black women.
Okay. They put her her picture all over the web, and they come to find out, everybody was like, "It's not her. She didn't have anything to do with this.
This already messy."
But then
extremely
it's extremely messy. And then the next kind of rumor that I heard was that they were saying that it was a woman who worked in the Celtics travel office.
That ain't true.
Actually, if you are to believe the story, actually helped Nia Long and her family relocate to Boston. So
we don't know who it is?
Now if it's that woman, and if the picture that's been tied to that woman is true, she is a white woman.
Okay, so but we don't know.
Lastly, to Skills' point, I would argue we don't really know who this woman is at this point. We just know it's not the sister whose picture they plastered on.
So it's not the black lady, but we don't know who it is.
I would argue we don't know who it is.
But
that's
honestly,
that's true. We don't know.
A white woman.
Skills.
But if I had $1 million
But if we being real,
I put my million in it's a white woman.
Story is going, it's a white woman.
I mean,
if I had $1 million right now, that's the easiest million I bet right now. And I would never bet it all. I bet it all on that.
It's not, it's about, it ain't about
the
white, it's not about the woman, it's about the husband. And I would say that he's white. Because anytime a white man feels threatened by a black man, he's gonna take it there. It's gonna go deep. So I feel like, involving the husband, and if he's some high-powered executive or something like that, we don't know who it is. We don't know. I mean,
and that's how you know that it is.
But to Mel's point,
that's how you know that it is.
Valid point. But to Mel's point,
they got enough money to make sure you don't really know.
Exactly. This is where I have an issue with Boston, because I feel like either tell it all or don't tell none of it, and just say, look, it's an internal matter that's being dealt with.
Period.
And
don't throw this out there, don't throw that out there. You like preach it to now it's because we can't have relationships within the organization. Then it went to, he's in a position of power and we can't have. What are you talking about?
But then the crazy part, I shouldn't say the crazy part.
About? You know what I mean?
But
it's the protocol.
To me, what this highlights is that, this is a scenario that happened, but this is not a standalone scenario.
No.
like I forgot what I was listening to, but this one person was saying like, you would be, well, you either would or wouldn't, but basically he was saying, you got media personalities, you got sideline reporters, you got a plethora of people in sports media that are fucking these athletes. Okay, like
100%.
Right, and fucking coaches and like this is not.
But this is just Boston's rule.
But this is just right. This is just
Boston's
pattern,
rule.
man.
Right.
On the real, listen.
That and we are in an age of social media where it's different now. Like, you know, we can pick and choose what is exposed and what's not. And people can do that. They can create a narrative for their own fucking life and their own story and make people believe what they want. I'm honestly thinking about it.
Poor people can too, but rich people's is the
Oh, baby. Poor people can all the time.
You get
But
your
rich
life
people are the ones that can.
That's the only one that stick.
They dominate the media.
That's it.
The media, they
But
dominate the media. And it's petty. When you look at what the penalty is, and this is why I say it, and I told y'all in the group text that night when we was texting about the whole situation, I told y'all that it's definitely somebody high up. Because the punishment is petty.
Yeah.
You make so, and I was watching
the whole season.
Have you been, Joe? It ain't even just that. Have you been following the whole detail of it?
I thought
so
they
get a man
somebody in the calf or something.
No, they get a man half his salary. So they chopped his salary in half. They own the rights to him. That's why they didn't fire him. They fire him, he got a right to get another job. They didn't fire him, so they own the rights to him. So that means you're going to work for half your salary, and you can't get another job until we release you. They say after the suspension, they'll have a discussion to determine what his
This ain't even about Nia no more.
Yeah.
So
this
you
ain't got
don't
nothing
even
to do
have
with
no
Nia.
foreseeable future.
It sounds very vindictive.
They already did it. As an executive of that team, he has sex with an executive's wife. That's why you don't know her name.
Yeah.
That's why she's not going to get punished.
I agree.
And I'll give you this, because I got my old man's conspiracy theoryism in me. It's not a coincidence that pictures of women from the staff popped up. I think they're a part of that, part of the media. They want to put the attention somewhere else, so you won't even think about the obvious. What they're doing to him is clearly petty. But I'll say this, because I want to make one more point after this one. I just recently went through an ethics policy training at my job. The whole department had to. You watch the video, you take the quiz. They're making it very clear that our company will not be liable if these things happen. That's covering your ass policy. It's about, you worked in corporate America, bro.
Yeah,
There's people having sex all over the place because they see them every day, more than they see their own family. That's why doctors have sex with so many doctors. I see you more than my own family. It's normal. But to cover our ass, you sign this policy and you watch the video. So if you get caught and she decides it's not consensual anymore, we're not liable. So that's that. And I'll make this point about the Nia Long comment. Because I always laugh at this. But I have my laugh. My wife get irritated with it, but I'm boldly honest. It doesn't matter your status. It doesn't matter how much you have, how many men hustle for you.
After a while?
It doesn't matter.
After a while, what?
After a while, it's over.
Period.
And things happen.
You got to be innovative after a while.
It's just what it is. It's like, but all these people are saying, like, how could you do that to the queen?
The physical will not keep you secure.
We
have no idea.
Halle Berry or
Beyonce.
all these other people.
But look, even with that, nobody ever said, well, what did she do for him to not want to be? Immediately.
Right.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So now.
Because we don't know Nia.
He's the piece of shit. So now everybody said, oh, he's a piece of shit. He slept with this lady. We have no idea.
Watch it now.
I mean.
We have no idea about their relationship.
But we don't. But we don't know.
You don't know that.
But we don't know.
We know.
You don't know that she didn't cheat on that man, bro. You don't know that.
Actually, wait, we on a podcast.
You don't know none of
I'm not
bro.
gonna say nothing.
That high come get you now.
Look,
You don't know these people, man.
The funny thing about Nia is that
we don't know these people.
We don't know.
They are,
But that's the thing. Like, I say that all the time about celebrities and when people,
we fall into their world and we don't even know what their world is.
The surface.
And I'm like,
we don't know what the hell.
Right. don't know.
We want to believe. Like, you know how many years we want to believe Will and Jada was so in love, and everybody was always comparing people to Will and Jada.
That's a whole other
we have no idea. We learned more about them in the last 3 years than we have in 15 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We never knew that it was like this.
Yep.
And it's been like this for how long?
Since they've been married.
You will never know. People criticize Halle Berry. Why she ain't never... Halle Berry and J-Lo... Well, J-Lo different. She always getting married. Yeah. Halle Berry might be the smartest woman ever. She may have made a decision a long time ago that I'm not fucking with this life, and I want to live my life this way.
She tries to fuck with the life.
You get to decide how you want to live. You don't have to be married and have kids to have an existence. Everybody do what they want to do.
Yeah.
She gets married to.
If she get married, if she decides she don't want to be married and have a boyfriend, whatever you want to do, it's all good. Like, just you do you. We want to believe that these people
are like
are
better
these perfect
or
couples,
like
so we can stand, so we can have somebody to throw in our spouse's face and tell them why you can't be like him or why you can't be like her. They're human too.
And they flawed.
We have no idea.
Yes.
We're all flawed. My whole thing on this is, if you're going to go down the road of telling part of the story, you got to tell the whole story. And I say tell the whole story. You ain't got to tell me who it was, but I just don't like the fact
Parks,
that
let me ask you this.
It on him.
Let me ask you this. And I'm not putting you, and I'm not going to put Parks on the spot with this, but Parks is married. I want to ask him this. And I answer to it just to make it fair. If your wife cheated on you with a person that worked for the organization that you're an executive of, would you be vindictive enough to make sure your wife was known to the general public? Or would you do everything you could to make sure they didn't know it was your wife?
Or you.
Because you got the money. You got the money, you got the power. Would you protect your wife or would you feed her to the wolves?
No, I wouldn't feed her to the wolves.
Because you hurt.
I wouldn't do
She
that.
cheated on you, and to be honest, to a peon.
Yeah.
I'm here. He just a fucking coach.
A black coach.
Even being hurt like that, would you feed her to the wolves or would you use all your friends and connections to make sure that she would not be hurt by this incident?
But that's my point.
So you're saying that he cheated on Nia Long because he knew Nia Long cheated on him?
No, I ain't talking about that. I'm saying that.
He's just saying, like,
no, that's not what I'm saying.
He's not saying that.
The lady that he cheated with, I'm telling you, my opinion is that it's an executive's wife. Now, he's pissed off that his wife cheated on him with this guy, especially, let's be real, with this black guy.
Yes.
My wife cheated on me with this black guy, and I
humiliation.
And I write his checks.
Yeah, that's humiliating.
Now, we can say we hurt, we angry, we can say whatever we say in the moment. Will we feed our wives to the wolves, or will we use all of our resources
that comes back on
to make sure that she was not hurt by this incident? And that's what I believe he did.
But I don't even know if it's about being her. I think it's about him.
You will not know her face.
Yeah.
I will feed her.
I think it's about him more than it's about her.
He's not gonna feed his wife to the wolves, bro. He's not gonna do that.
Because if he gives up her, it's gonna come back on him, and then his face is gonna be all over.
Now everybody know my wife slept with a black coach in Boston. This is Boston.
Nia Long's fiance, like it's a whole thing.
This is Boston. He's a rich executive.
It don't mean he's from Boston.
That don't matter.
It don't matter.
In Boston, you a white executive. My wife cheated on me with the help, my nigga.
We just talked.
I don't want nobody to know
this. Like this. There's an ego that comes with feeling like they are superior, if you will, especially white men.
That's how they look at them.
So there's an ego that comes with that to where...
Yeah, no, I feel what y'all saying.
We don't know. We will never know.
I don't think she ain't gonna get fed to no wolves,
That's a very valid point.
And have been
why we don't know.
The black lady that they ruined her day with that bullshit. If it was really her, she'd have been everywhere.
She would have been everywhere. She would have been destroyed. But you heard about her.
They've been talking to her mama. They've been talking to her cousin.
You know.
They would have talked to anybody who knew her. They'd have been on some sports channel.
Oh my God, she would have been all over the place.
Suffice to say, there's a reason why you heard about the coach, and then they threw out the subject of it being consensual, and then maybe at some point it quote unquote wasn't consensual. But you're right.
If it's rape parts, you can't keep it a secret. If it's sexual assault,
you can't. Yeah,
you can't keep that a secret.
Because he would have been charged with something.
Yeah,
but I definitely think, to Skills' point, there's somebody,
some underlying detail that we don't know.
We're gonna fix
in
you.
that organization that they don't want you to know who this person was, and I feel like they don't want you to know who this person's wife was. There's something.
And guess what?
There's something about this they don't want us to know.
And by next week, we ain't gonna be talking about this.
Yeah.
It's
We
gonna
need to
go
talk about it.
and it's gonna be something else.
He's just gonna be out of the league for a year, and we gonna be focused on
because
that.
it wasn't that.
We're gonna be focused
To
on
be
Taylor,
clear, to be clear,
Brown, all them. You know what I'm saying?
no, to be clear, if you watch,
Great point.
you watch
Bro,
First Take,
good.
you watch
people,
Undisputed,
man.
you watch Sports Center, you watch all of this. They have moved on. They're not
Yeah, they ain't
talking
talking
about
about
this
that.
anymore.
Yeah,
This
it's
was
over with.
last week's news.
Yep.
It's over with.
Yep. Yep.
Hey, the
It's a
rich
great
people
point.
use the media to their benefit.
Yeah.
And we want to push an agenda, we use
Yep.
the media. We
And
want to
it-
make you afraid, we push the media. We want you to vote for a certain person, we use the
Yeah,
media.
And the minute we
They
don't
know
the
the
minute
power
we don't want
Exactly.
you
of the
to
media.
push anything, we'll let you know that.
Yeah.
And
They
you
found
abide
a
by our
shitload of-
rules because we pay the checks.
They
Now,
found a
we
shitload
don't
of
know
classified
what
documents in
other
Trump's house,
penalties
and
she
we don't
faced.
even talk about that no more.
That was a blip.
Right, that was a blip.
literal like 1 or 2 days,
All
and
the
I
files
was like,
they
wait.
found in Trump's house, and
Yep.
2 weeks later, we don't even talk about
And
it.
honestly,
care.
I probably wouldn't have known about it if I didn't listen to
Right.
NPR.
They
don't care.
Because
we don't even
like,
talk about it. no more.
Done on
Done.
CNN.
Right.
No, and it was huge. It was a huge
Now fast
situation.
forward, we ain't even talking about it.
At
We ain't
all.
talking about it.
And we talking about shit like
there's a lot of big
Herschel
shit we ain't
Walker,
talking about.
Right.
Here, another
and,
one.
and let's do this. Like so we got a segment on the show that's called Stop Playing, right? I'm gonna bring this to the forefront. Let's talk about Herschel Walker.
Thank you.
Herschel Walker is an ex-football player. Very, very good ex-football player. Extraordinary. One of the elites. I'll put him there. He is Vince? Black Republican, which you despise. You don't despise, but you just don't understand.
I don't
right?
get it. I definitely don't get that.
Yes.
Herschel Walker is a black Republican that is running for
Like an oxymoron.
He's running for
a Senate bench,
Yes,
right?
he is running for a seat in the U.S.
He's
Senate.
running for the Senate, who has been very articulate about how he feels about. He's been very articulate about how he feels. Yeah,
Articulate.
Wait, is that the right word?
Articulate. About what?
About how he feels about abortion.
Right.
That he like to pay for him?
Hold on.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna let you got it.
I don't think articulate is the right word.
He's been very adamant about how he feels about abortion in regards to the new law that doesn't
overturn a Roe versus Wade.
that doesn't allow a woman to basically
choose
tend
her
to
own.
herself.
To choose her own.
Now,
And this shit is crazy, man.
he's
crazy.
been very adamant about that.
Yes.
I'm just totally against it, and he's running for this seat in Senate.
And then what? And
Recent scenarios show that
what? What'd he do?
he wrote a check
Wrote a check.
for $700,
That can be traced.
sent
We
it
can-
to a young lady who had an abortion,
Who has bank accounts.
and it was his child that was in her body.
Stomach.
Now,
And she had a what?
abortion.
Okay, a
Ask me
smushmortion.
again.
A
Ask me
smushmortion.
Not a smushmortion.
Well, that's what he
an
want to say.
abortion.
It ain't.
And he's claiming he knows absolutely. He's like Brett Favre. There's so many. What is it? Maybe that's the, no disrespect, maybe that's the CTE kicking in for these guys who are caught red-handed and they still claim, but
This ain't nothing
It
new.
would be.
but let me
Go ahead.
let me get to the real issue why Herschel Walker, not even Herschel Walker, but Republican Party stop playing. There are Republicans that are vouching for Herschel Walker, saying that, well, that was his personal life, and now he is literally an advocate for what we believe in. So we're going to leave his personal life alone. Hold on.
Go ahead.
I'm like, okay.
We're going to leave his personal life alone, and we're just going to allow.
That's cute.
We're going to allow him. He's had his situation. Isn't everything personal when it comes to like politics and what a politician does to evolve somebody's like misfortunes and things of this
People
nature.
Can change their mind.
But this is where we should stop playing at, Republicans.
Stop playing. Say it.
We should stop playing because we know the only reason why you're using this black man as a pawn in your Republican situation is if you get Herschel Walker on that bench, the sway of the power swings to the Republican side because now there'll be more Republicans on the Senate than Democrats. So you get a big stop playing as if you are really vouching for Herschel Walker and you care about how he's changed his perspective on the situation that you guys really are into as far as controlling a human being's personal rights. Herschel Walker, you get to stop playing because there's something that happened to you in the past where you feel like you need extreme acceptance from the side that really doesn't fuck with you anyway. You must be related to Kanye somewhere along the road.
You drank the same tea,
Republicans and Herschel Walker, stop playing.
Right. Okay.
Go ahead, dialogue on that.
You go, cause
shit. At this point, I pray it's the CTE because if it's not the CTE,
it ain't no CTE,
boy. But yeah, like it's
the white D.
Look, you're right. He's a pawn. Like
we know that agenda. He sits in the Senate. What happens
after this whole story about him paying for the abortion case?
No matter what Joe Biden.
They celebrated. They were like, yes.
You saw politicians, conservative pundits, the whole gamut. People, like you said, people saying, "Well, that's his personal life." I seen people say, "Well, you know, Herschel's a really good guy, but he played football and he had a lot of hits to the head." And then I've seen one person say, like, I don't care how many abortions he's paid for. Right. I want to get control of the Senate.
So I'm going to vote him in.
My whole point is, like, whether it's about abortion, whether it's about Herschel Walker's campaign, like, don't be fooled by the fact that it's not about family values. It's not about any of this. It's not about economic anxiety. It's not about we want to be tougher on crime. It's not about, none of that. This is all about power. Mm-hmm. It's power. Mm-hmm.
He get on that seat, what happens? Power. Right. Even though you have a Democratic president in office,
it doesn't matter.
If he get in the seat, that situation sways.
They will always, because guess what? It doesn't matter how the law was changed because it doesn't matter for them. They're still going to do what they do. Do you know all the things that they've done that we don't know about? You don't think most of these men, Republicans that have had abortions, paid for abortions, all of this stuff, like that's my main point is it's getting him in the seat. It's not about the values. It's not about what's right and wrong. It's not about women being human. It's about getting the vote, basically, getting the majority of the vote. That's all it's about. And it just happens to be a black dude. And they were probably like, okay, like,
right.
His shit has been aired out. Right? So we have receipts for him, but it's okay. Like, he's a good dude, and they can list all these reasons why, like, it's okay for him to, or it's not true or whatever, but we have the proof.
It makes people like us look like.
But the thing is, this abortions have been happening forever. It's not going to stop. The rich people will continue to get abortions. This is not about, it's about class.
Yeah.
Again, what we've been talking about for the last hour and a half, 2 hours, it's about class. So it don't matter if you black, white, if you black on the Senate, you got money, you with them, you're gonna be fine because you're different
to a certain extent.
To a certain extent, because guess what? You're gonna help them. You're gonna benefit them.
Shout out to my wife, because she hit me to it. She said, "Look, I shouldn't say but let's say in a regular scenario, Republicans wouldn't give a damn about abortion.
They don't give a shit.
What's happening is you're starting to see for the first time, Black, brown populations are increasing. Mm-hmm. White populations are decreasing. Mm-hmm. And so the only way, the whole and granted, it's been it's been a over 40-year goal.
Yeah, I mean, it's been
But this is about ensuring or attempting to ensure that the white population doesn't decrease.
Absolutely.
That's
and it's not going to work.
It's not about family values. This ain't about nothing. This ain't about...
Because the white privilege can do whatever they want.
But they can't do that. They can't fix
or
that
not,
problem.
because they have the money, the funds, and they run this shit. And they control us in every way. Or they want to.
But I will also tell you...
That's one thing they can't control. Is people...
But I feel like... I feel like...
And it's almost hilarious.
They would really be at a disadvantage if they... Like, with this rule. Because... That's one thing we do is procreate like a motherfucker, bro.
But you know another thing that we do? The other thing that we do that we can't do anymore is dominate women.
No, but what is...
And that's but let me make this point when I say that, because I don't want that to just be that and that just that sound bite. For years, men have been able to have that control in terms of what they dictated, what you could do, what you couldn't do. They were the one that made all the decisions. A lot of these older white men, they really enjoyed being that kind of powerful, right? We're in an age now where their daughters are coming home with mixed babies, where their grandkids are mixed. It's different now. It ain't like that no more. And they preach the same thing to their daughters. They preach the same thing to their grandkids. You can't control them anymore. If you tell a woman you can't have an abortion, they'll go where the fuck you can have.
Which is another reason why
you're not going to stop them from doing what they want to do with their body.
Beneficial to them.
You can't control it. And that's the one thing that's driving them crazy, because the most important thing to their culture is the population of their culture. And they can't control women enough to make them not do what they want to do with their own body. So you're never going to win this. You feel this way, and then every time you turn around, you're gonna see your little grandbaby walking around with the nice little curly hair that ain't just like your grandfather's. That's where you are now. You've already lost this war. In the next 2 years, because the numbers they did last year, we actually talked about this last year on the podcast.
We did.
The numbers have tripled since then. We're there now. We're knocking at the door. They already are at the minority pool. They just don't want to say that out loud. The numbers has already eclipsed that.
It's just about controlling. It's a power move. It's about controlling people.
They don't have the numbers no more.
We talk about controlling our bodies. That's what it is. And it's not just about not having a baby. This is a medical thing that people don't want to think about. They are criminalizing having miscarriages. This is way deeper than choosing, I got pregnant because I've been out here thotting in the street.
Right.
And oops, I'm pregnant, I'm gonna go have an abortion. It's not just about that. I'm 42 years old. And if I have an IUD, but that doesn't mean that shit don't happen. Right. Where I get pregnant, you think I wanna have a baby right now? Or like I have the means to have a baby? It's not just about not having the money. Or it's so much deeper than that. And that's when it comes to being human and having control over my own body. It's not just about black and white and being like, oh, I don't want my daughter to have a black baby. It is so many layers to it, and it's not fair, and it's inhumane. Hands down,
I feel like 100%. You have 4. If you come home Especially these politicians that's pushing it when they like
but guess
hype.
what? They have the money to pay for an abortion.
But that's the problem. Even if they don't,
they're making it illegal for us, not for them. Because if they send their daughters or wives or girlfriends or bitches to have an abortion, nothing's gonna happen to them.
But here's how crazy it is.
They don't want them to have abortions. They don't want them to stop having children.
Yes.
They want more white babies. They want more white children.
What I'm saying is, no. I don't agree with that.
That law is, I don't
it's
feel
not
like
for
that
them,
narrative
it's for us.
is accurate, because that law, if you just put that across the board, it's still, I think the black and brown clips is higher as far as
it doesn't pertain to them.
How does it affect them if we abort our children? How does that, just explain that part to me. How does that affect them?
Because the whole purpose of what y'all talking about in regards to there being the population being filled, like if you having babies year after year, the same family having if
2
my
and
baby
3
is
babies,
5, 4,
and we're all on
2,
welfare,
1,
or we're
13,
paying
12,
for your kids,
and then your white family has the traditional family of, I'm not having any babies until I'm married, and then they get married and they have the kid, they have one more kid maybe, and then they're done.
It's a two-sided.
But history don't coincide with that. The whole point of Planned Parenthood was to encourage black people to get rid of their children. That was the whole plan, was for us to decrease in numbers.
Right.
If you're saying that they're advocating for this law to prevent us from doing that, they go against the agenda. That doesn't fit.
That's why I'm saying. So what
they don't want their women having abortions. They're making it across the line. They're not making it where they can and we can't. They're trying to make it illegal for them too.
No, they're not. They're not making it illegal for them.
If it's a state law, if it's a state, I'm asking a question. If it's a state law,
like you said, Planned Parenthood
was designated to kill our children.
Right. But if they're getting rid of that, because
why would you do that?
But that's what's going on now. They're abolishing abortion.
So then they're advocating for more black and brown children. Is that what we're saying?
No.
They're advocating for nobody to abort their kids.
Basically, they're advocating for more. Okay, so let me put it in a context of voting and elections, right?
Because that's what it is.
They're advocating more white children.
Mm-hmm.
So increase. Let's put it in the context of voters. Increase the number of white voters, and while we do that, we're also going to do things on a local and national level to restrict black people and people of color having the right to vote. So it's like getting back to the whole power dynamic, right? Mm-hmm. It's trying to implement this strategy that keeps white folks in power, and keeps white folks in power. You're right. They can't do with abortion, with overturning abortion. Yes, it increases. In theory, it increases more white babies. It also increases more black, brown.
In theory,
everybody else, right? So they understand that, and so they're like, "Oh shit, how do we keep all of these black and brown people from not only multiplying, but from participating in a way that lessens our power? All right, we're gonna go." Not only on the national level, where we're trying to gut the voting rights, all these voting rights acts, we're also going to go on the local levels. We're going to gerrymander local municipality governments. We're going to do all this stuff behind the scenes so that basically their goal is, we don't care how many kids y'all kick out, y'all ain't going to be able to participate in this election process. while all these white babies can participate in this election process and maintain power.
So it's the
in my
arrogance.
mind, that's how that
No, and that makes sense
in
on
my mind,
that side.
It's what you were saying.
Yeah.
But he kind of broke it down.
That's the way they factor in the increase of black and brown. But let me ask this. As a person making a decision to conquer something, and this is the only place I come from with this, is just the logic of it. If you're trying to conquer something, if you're trying to keep a certain demographic of people beneath you, increasing their odds has never shown to benefit the oppressor in any country, right? Because the more of them it is than you, they'll overthrow you. So why would you do anything to encourage that?
But
that's what I'm saying.
But
that's
all
I'm saying.
I agree with that.
I agree.
That's all I'm saying.
We were like agreeing, and we.
I just don't. No, I'm not even. I just don't understand that point of it.
But there's levels to it, and I agree with what you're saying too. But the thing is, you got to think about how many black and brown babies are going to be in poverty that maybe won't have the opportunity to vote, won't vote, are going to die, perish. The mothers that are carrying the babies that can't carry the baby to term, they can't get an abortion, so the baby dies, the mama dies. But what you got to think about, the privileged people, white, very few black and brown people that have money, that can maybe get assistance in secret on the low, where they can either have the abortion and save the mother. And I'm not saying it's like a huge population, but what I'm saying is there's so many levels to it, and it's so complicated where we don't think about it that deep, right? You're just thinking on kind of the surface level where you're like, oh, well, they don't want us to have all these babies that are black and brown, and it's not that. They are literally not thinking about us. They are thinking about them. And
I agree.
How it's going to benefit them. They use religion to that, and all of those things to where we still don't benefit from that, but they still get what they want. Voter-wise, political-wise, money-wise, just lifestyle in general, they can still do what they want, but they're still controlling our lives and our bodies to where they're like, no, you get pregnant again? Nah. You stick with it. You get rid of the baby, like you have the baby and give them up for abortion. Or not abortion, I'm sorry, adoption. Or you deal with the consequences of having 6 fucking kids on welfare, and it's more service for them if you think about it. So you're populating this community of like where there's more poor people to serve the rich people, to serve the people of privilege, right? It could be that too. There's a lot of different dynamics to it. To me,
I believe there's a lot more to it.
There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to it.
I don't think they going that deep.
I know what you're saying. Like, I feel like what he's saying is like,
I get it.
If you keep
they not thinking that deep.
If you continuously give me the dice to try to roll this 7, eventually I'm gonna roll it. You know what I mean?
It could very well be a short-sighted thing on their part, but
I don't think it is.
We're discussing
I feel like on their
the other side of that one decision. But when these people are in the room, they're not having these talks with doctors and people who do something.
No, I know they're not.
They're sitting there saying, what do we need to do about this? Hey, let's do this.
It's about power. That's it.
And then they'll revisit this.
It's about control.
Right, when they realize
the one thing that's always been known is that men can control women. White men.
Black men can't do nothing with
Not at all.
They don't try. Anyway,
like,
that's a whole other story. That's a whole other story.
I'm gonna sit that one.
That's a whole other
I
thing.
tell you to be who you talking to? I was going to the.
We gonna have a whole other conversation. But that's the way the world. Men are always going to want to control women and their bodies. Voting. I mean, we can take it all the way back.
No, say those men. We don't feel that way. I don't know nobody in my circle who wants to control women.
Only if we role play.
We don't want to control you.
That's a beautiful thing. That's great. We like that.
No, I know you're right, but I'm just saying, let's be clear. They're obsessed with that.
But who's in power? They're the ones that are making the laws.
And they're obsessed with that shit.
I cannot get pregnant today and decide what the fuck I do with my body. That's fucked up.
All right. So, gentlemen, it's time to take care of our sponsor.
And who is our sponsor?
You guys are in an actual commercial right now.
So are we?
Be prepared.
What is that?
Are you feeling depressed?
All the time.
Do you feel anxiety from time to time?
Every day.
Do you not understand what the world of politics is about and what their agenda is?
All the time.
Do you want to sometimes give up on even listening to it? And just do you lash out on your immediate circumference of close friends and family?
Yeah.
If it's convenient.
Here at Strange Fruit Premium Cannabis, we have the solution.
We love it.
There are several different entities within our organization that can help you through any of those stress factors that I just identified for you.
For sure.
There is flower of plenty of different strains straight from California.
Fresh.
There is also vape carts. We are now in the accurate situation of having, I don't know if you guys have heard of disposable vape pens.
Yeah.
We have those.
I have.
We have
They're
disposable vape pens where not only do I have to just give you the cartridge and you have to find your own pen, we have actual disposable pens.
You have pens now?
We can just give you.
Nice.
Yes. There are edibles. We've done this on the show before. We'll do it again, not today.
What y'all do?
Yeah.
We've done edibles.
Oh, y'all like ate it on the show?
Yeah, he bust them out.
Ooh, Lord.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
He had a good time.
You didn't like that.
with
You
it.
didn't like that.
We
It was an
also
experience,
have, guys, the commercial's going?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. We also have oils.
Yes.
We have infused olive oil, infused coconut oil, and infused butter. All of these things that I've provided to you verbally are available for you with just the flick of a text message. You can reach me on IG. The website is www.strangefruitpremium.com. You can reach me on my IG, which is at 606 Whateva Podcast. You can also reach me on my fan page, Big Mel, aka The Premise. Get at me, send me your information. We also deliver to your front door.
Amazing.
Strange Fruit Premium Cannabis. All right. So we've been dialoguing on a lot of stuff, guys. I had a great time.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, real quick, you need to let me know what's going on too. If you in or out for the Bears game on Thursday.
I'm gonna let you know.
With that being said, how about them Bears? The Bears right now are 2-2.
You could have ended the show, and instead, you had
So now
to
we
do
got another
this.
30 minutes.
You
Nah,
had
the Bears.
It's not gonna be that
We
long.
don't got 30 minutes for the damn Bears.
It's not gonna be that long.
I don't know.
How about them
I don't
Bears?
even
The
know
Bears
what
are 2-2. Not a terrible record,
It's
right?
2-2.
They're so they're 50%.
On
They're
paper,
not
not a
500.
terrible record.
on paper, but if you've looked at
On the
the
field,
games,
it's
you would be like, damn, they 2-2. So our Jesus, so to speak, not to slight you anyway. Our Jesus, so to speak, has not looked quality. I have reasons why he doesn't look as quality. I'm speaking of Justin Fields.
okay.
He hasn't looked quality.
No.
The defense can't stop the run even if they put a roadblock up.
Worst run defense in the NFL.
The only thing that has been somewhat satisfying, in my opinion, is the run game.
It's the only thing you can do offensively.
The run game, Khalil Herbert has been exceptional. David Montgomery has been very nice when he's on the field and not injured. Mm-hmm. So, guys, are we vouching for are we blaming this all on Justin Fields, or are we blaming this on the new front office we have that hasn't put any talent his way? Just before you answer that, I have seen the field from the perspective of the passer, and nobody's getting any separation.
No.
That is...
He's run the ball more times than he has attempted passing.
And if they open,
That
you know
says
why?
a lot.
Because they chasing his ass around. They blitzing. He can't get the ball out. This kid, let me just do this and leave it alone. I know that's why we're here. Let's just do this and leave it alone, okay? When you're on a shitty team, everybody plays shitty. We act like there's a whole bunch of there's a whole bunch of Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady's. No, because he's honestly not in this conversation. But Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, people who can play with a team that don't have a lot of good talent and they still make it look decent. There's not a lot of people that can do that. Fair. The one thing that you definitely can't do is if your O-line can't protect longer than 2 seconds, it's over for you. I don't give a shit how good your arm is, how fast you run. You only gonna run. Because that's all you're gonna do. They're great at run blocking,
good, but they're horrible at
passing is terrible. But I'll say this, and let me say this and I'll leave it.
I know you.
What they have done, the plan is exactly what's happening. They're not crazy. These people aren't idiots, and they don't know what's gonna happen. They got rid of all the big contracts. They got rid of all the veteran players. They got rid of all the people that was getting big money. There's nobody on the Bears who's getting big money except Robert Quinn, and I believe he's going to be traded before the end of the season for something. Everybody else on the Bears is getting minimum money, and they got over $100 million in cap space. So what do you do next year with a top 10 draft pick and $100 million? Then we'll see how good they are. But this is the plan. This is exactly what they're trying to do.
Vince.
Yeah, I don't disagree with a lot of that. I do think, like, for me as a watching it, I've totally written off this season. So like I don't think they will, but they could win 10 games. They could very easily lose.
Don't.
But it's not gonna happen.
They could very easily lose
don't.
the next 13 or 14, however many games are left in the
Feels
season.
like that's what's happened, right?
I'm not saying they will. I'm not saying they will.
You're like,
It could be easily 0-4, by the way.
But my thing is this.
Don't win more than 6 games, please.
My thing is this.
You know they're going to win.
You need to figure out.
They're goofy.
You need to figure out who on both sides of the ball are going to be on the team like next season, because with the cap space, you can make some inroads in the free agent market and stuff like that. You need to figure out if you're going to pay Roquan Smith. But I will say at some point, you got to let your quarterback throw the ball. But I agree with Skills. Like, this might be the worst wide receiving core in the NFL. Like,
well, that was me that said that.
None of these guys can, everybody wants to say,
terrible.
I shouldn't say everybody, but I hear like some things people say, well, Justin got the pass out a second too late or something like that. And like, you look at they can't separate. Like, your wide receivers have to be able to get some separation.
He's not seeing anybody open.
And
like, he's not.
But then also,
and then the moment a second, the play where he finally sees somebody open, yeah, he's flustered. Like, it's continuity is what the quarterback position is.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right? So if you are like if you get 3 or 4 plays where you tossing that bitch and people are getting open, yeah, you're gonna make some big plays. But if you are not seeing any separation, and then
on the third series, like somebody is finally open and you miss it, well, shit. You know what I mean? You worried about defensive ends and tackles getting.
You're not in a rhythm.
Some of the criticism that
you're not in a rhythm.
You're not in a
some of the
rhythm.
criticism that comes towards him is people are like, well, he can't throw the receivers open. But I'm like, you can't throw receivers open. That can't separate from the defender. Like, you have to be able to separate. You got to create some separation from the defender.
Yeah.
And they can't separate. And so
they put a team together to say that they got a team. They want to lose. They can get a top 10 pick and get free agents and rebuild the whole team.
Yeah,
so don't win more than 6 games. And of course, the Bears, they so goddamn goofy.
They'll go like
they'll win 8 or 9 games and get like number 12 or 13 in the draft. They're trying to lose. They're telling this kid, don't throw the ball.
Perfect world, you want a top 5 pick. That's really what you want.
They telling the kid, don't throw the ball.
Yeah.
Let's put them up, guys. Candace, did you have anything to say about the Bears?
No.
I love you too, by the way.
I love y'all.
This episode has been very epic. Let's drink first. I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Queen, for coming through.
Look, I'm gonna interrupt you because we didn't get a chance to talk about some things.
I know.
What?
So I had to come back.
Wait a minute. What y'all
Because
want to talk about?
We had like
we definitely
some subjects that we wanted to talk about.
Though. Like,
This was dope, but I didn't know y'all had something. I'm curious now.
We
It stemmed from conversations that we had.
Okay.
So
This is the reason why this kicked off.
even earlier today, I was like, I need y'all's opinion. I wanted to like touch on men and women and like relationships and stuff. So
Well, then you got to come back.
I gotta come back. If y'all want to have me back,
I want to have that.
I'm down. So
we are definitely
whenever
down
y'all
for that.
have me back, I will be here. This was awesome. Thank you so much.
Hey,
Are we gonna have her back?
She coming back the next episode to do the other part.
Absolutely.
Cause look, we got some things to talk about.
Let's open it up.
By the way, I'm wearing. This gear I'm wearing is called Starstruck. It's about my homie Vince.
Very
aka
nice.
Vito. What up, boy? I appreciate you lacing me with the whole fit.
Very nice.
I'll be putting your shit on blast on the 606 Whateva podcast.
You need to give me one.
Once there's a lot of inquiries, it's time to talk sponsorship, black man. This is the 606 Whateva podcast tour.